Sorry I'm so late. This is no green screen, so the freaking I can't even wear most of the stuff I wanted to wear has green in it, and it's like either I turn it where I look just the green screen, or I just pushed it down. Like I'm just gonna push it down. I had my quilt. I had my zavgirl side on the other side. I flipped it around just because I don't know, the pink with the bread. I don't know. I just decided to flip it around the other side. But this is a quilt Diana Wright made. I'm gonna have to show you the other side for those of you that haven't seen it before. It's my zavgirl logo. But this is actually a real license plate. Anyway, yeah. It's not used anymore, but it's actually a real license plate. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. How's everybody doing? Is anybody even here? I haven't looked at comments yet. Hold on. Dude, I keep getting this thing that pops up in the right, and it pops up at the bottom, and it won't let me, there's no way to exit out of it. So either I have to click on it, pull up the screen, and then exit out of it, or sometimes it eventually goes away, but it's in the way of the freaking, the chat. Hold on, just give me, I'm gonna click on it and then I'll have to exit out, so just give me 1 minute. I hate this. Okay. Guess that's not that bad. Anyway, who's all here? Hey, Phoenix. Hey, Learn to Grow. Cool Gamer. Ashley. Oh, I was gonna text you, Ashley. Was hoping you'd come. Yes, it definitely expired. How can you even see the month? Wait, where do you see that it's expired? How could you tell it expired? It did. Where did you, I mean, but I don't know how you'd be able to tell it expired. You can't see, there's no stickers of the month. How did you know? Oh, the color. I wouldn't even know what color. I mean, my car is up to date, my car that I have, but I don't even know. I don't really remember what color I put it in on October. I don't remember what color the freaking sticker was. You guys really remember what color? I have no idea what color the stickers are. I have no clue. Anyway, yeah, sweet Dudley. Yeah, you do. I know you do. um, Hold on 1 second. Okay, let me make sure. Yeah, my thing's off. So, okay, yeah, I don't know. Well, no, it would be each year, silly. Oh, wait, yeah, that wouldn't make sense because every year you have to renew it. So it wouldn't be a different. If you're saying it, yeah, every month that people renew it, it's different, then you would have no idea when they've expired. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say it's like June of next month, year, or this year, and if June is always the same color, how do you know if it's the past June or this? You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I think Dudley's just messing. He just knows. It was a safe guess. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think he just knows that obviously it's expired. Because why would I be hanging it up? Anyway, yes, I am. How did you know that? And what made you bring that up? But yes, I am. Going on 7 years I have. October made 7 years. But what made you bring that up? Donna? I'm just curious. I'm always nosy. I want to know everything. No, it's okay. Just let him. I'm not offended by that. I'm proud that I recovered and I've made it this far. So that doesn't that doesn't offend me at all. So if that's a troll, then that they got work to do because that wasn't offensive at all. Yeah, don't worry. Just let them. They haven't said anything that's bad like that. I wouldn't. You didn't have to time them out for that. That wasn't anything bad. I mean, I saw the gray comment, but still, just let them. Until they say something out of line, just let them do it. It's not gonna. Those comments don't get to me because it's nothing that I'm ashamed of. I'm actually proud of it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm a recovering addict. Proud of it, dude. Got 7 years. And anybody that thinks that that's like a negative thing, that, you know what I'm saying, that is using it as a troll, then, I mean, that just shows they're the ones going to embarrass themselves. You know what I'm saying? That they're the ones embarrassing themselves because it doesn't come across as a trolling comment, even if you're probably right. They probably didn't mean it that way, but just let them go. You're all right. Don't let them get to you. Hey Becca Bob, what up? No, yeah, I know actually. I mean, I'm just saying, just because you know what I'm saying. They like that better. They like the just no big deal. It's okay. Kill them with kindness. Plus, like I said, none of those two comments have made me mad at all, so it's okay. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Mary. Thank you. Derpstein. Okay, so I was watching, hold on, let me actually pull up 1 second real quick though. Should I do, yeah, no, I'll just share it on this TV, or this video, or this side. To use an insult, it's like saying, I heard you used to be addicted to, and now you're not, expecting it to be a sick burn. I know, right? That just shows you people's maturity. If that really was supposed to be an insult, that is the, like, most, like, almost just, like, so immature, so, yeah, it was, so it's really embarrassing to themselves. Either it's not an insult and it's no big deal, or it's embarrassing to think that that's what they said for an insult. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let them go ahead. Oh, hey, thanks, Alan. 11 months. Wait a minute. See, I knew some of the colors looked off. Does that green not look a lot different than the normal green color that used to come up when that does that? Because earlier, all my colorings looked really, like, off in StreamYard. Doesn't that look like a different green than what normally comes up, or is it just me? It looks like a lighter green. Mandy, hey! Wait a second. Okay, so I was looking through, there's some really interesting, interviews from, like, around, like, 3 years ago. Um, it's the same guy. You guys may have seen him. You probably saw him back then, and I did see him back then, but when you rewatch him now, it just, some of it brings on, a new meaning. You know what I'm saying? So I was like watching some of the stuff and I'm like, wait a minute. We gotta watch this together. So I cut it. We're not gonna watch the whole interviews, a lot of it, because a lot of it's important. But I basically cut him. There's three of them. There's one with uh Abby's mom. There's one with Libby's mom, and there's one with Libby's grandparents. So, like I said, I clipped them out the parts that I wanted to, focus on and talk about as we're watching them. But it's all the same guy. It's that one. Hold on, what's his name? Well, when I bring it up here, what his name is? A Herbert? Jason Herbert or something, right? Hold on a second. Jason Herbert. I'm just debating. I forget if there's an R in it or not. That's what I'm debating. If it's Hebert or Herbert. So hold on a second. It's Jason though. And then, before that though, I want to show you guys. Somebody sent me this, which I just thought we'll touch on real quick. That's kind of interesting about the whole Freemason stuff. But hold on a second. I want to get his name so we have it. Why isn't it? It should be in my recently watched. Oh wait, I'll just watch his interview. Oh, Jason Hebert, Jason Hebert channel. But he hasn't done a video in like a year, so I don't know why is he not making videos anymore. But go, if you guys want to watch the whole interviews, you could go check out his channel. Actually, you know what? I should link that in hold on a second. I should link that in my description right now. But yeah, I don't know if he's still planning on making videos. It's been like a year since he's made one. he just like got a lot of good interviews with, well, I think his channel was, he was trying to like make it focus on the family members, you know, so he got like a lot of good interviews with family members. So, and then he just kind of like dropped off, but who knows, he might come back. Sometimes people take breaks and stuff. So um and then hold on, I want to go over some of the Freemason stuff that I wanted to show you real quick too, and then we'll start these interviews. But seriously, like some of the things, like maybe it's just me, but some of the things that, especially I find Abby's mom the most, well, I feel like some of the things she says I find the most interesting out of all three. Um, how's everybody doing now? I'm gonna do a rumble after this, guys. So we'll just have, it's gonna be like a fun rumble. You guys, so if you guys want to have some fun after this, we've been having so much fun over at Rumble. So, come over and check it out. It's like we just whatever. We could just talk about whatever. I think people are gonna come up on panel tonight. I've always make it open panel, but only one time people came up. But hopefully tonight we'll get some people to come up. Yeah, just whatever. We could talk about true crime. We could talk about dogs. We could talk about anything really. Um, just have fun, you know? Not worry. We could play whatever videos we want. We don't have to worry about copyright. Um, so it's just, I don't know, it's really cool. I'm really liking it. I just feel like a lot less stress and okay. So I have his, wait, why did it do that? Hold on one second. Hold on, guys. We're gonna start it. I'm just trying to link his channel real quick, and it's giving me a problem. Just give me one second, guys. Don't leave, because we're gonna have a good discussion even here. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Okay. I just want to make sure. I should have had this done. It's my fault. I should have had his video already done in there, but I just want to make sure because I think it's important to put it in there before I start, because sometimes I wait till after. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta be on it better than that. Okay, so it's in the, if you guys want to check out his channel, it's in my description now. All right, so let's see what chat's doing. Okay, so let's do you think this looks stupid? See, the only thing I hate this is why I needed green screen, but I talked to my mom and I am gonna set up my other room, so it's gonna be like a double thing. So it's gonna be like I'm gonna have my stuff in there and do my channel from there. But she also wants to put bunk beds for like my nephews or Gio when she gets older, so at least she has a spare bedroom. But I get like half the room. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to set it up because I'm like, I want like a background. I just want it natural. I don't want no green screen. I just want to be able to have like Zeke in the background, just to have whatever. It's just this. I can't. It's just my room is so cluttered and big, and then I already put this stuff in here because of when my grandma lived up here and the audio or the sound, but she doesn't stay up here anymore. My dad. It's just me, my mom, and my grandma, and they're downstairs. So, but anyway, my point is because the way this angles, it all in the shape. This is just a square, but it makes it always look weird. Like, look how it like there one side looks diagonal all the time, okay, and then this side goes straight down, and I don't understand why it does. Shouldn't they both look the same? They're both they're both exactly the same. This is like a cubicle that doesn't go all the way shut. So why is there always one side that looks angled and one side looks straight, and it makes it look stupid? I hate it. Anyway. Oh, hey, my three sons, go look at my community post. Here, I'll just share it real quick, but if you go to my community posts, I've posted it. But hold on, let me get it for you guys. It's in my descriptions now too, under my videos. I put it in my default description. So it's under all my video. I mean, if you go look under this video right now, it should have a Rumble link. So yeah, just go do that. I could put it in the chat right now if you want it, but that's just going to get lost as it moves up. But if you want it just to sign up real quick right now, I'll put it. But if not, description, or if you want to go to my community post, it's there. It's so much fun. I'm serious. Like I don't know. How late were we on it the other night? Till like almost 5 in the morning, I think it was. We had like an after party till like 5 in the morning after the last live. Oh, I'm sorry, Jamie. Your dad broke his arm, you said? So anyway, somebody sent me this email. You guys might already have known this, but I didn't realize that. Because like I said, some of you guys are like on this every single day and nonstop, always online. These days, I'm not quite that much into what I'm doing. I mean, I am when I'm doing it, but I'm just with my little bout of depression and stuff. I'm not like every day, and I've never been like an everyday, all day online type thing. But so wait, what am I doing here? Oh, so let me just share a couple of screenshots before we get into what we were gonna do, and then we'll watch the videos. So just stick around, guys. I just want to show you. Let me see, share. I just thought it was kind of interesting. It interested me because I'm following this case, and there's like, so I don't know. Did you guys ever see this right here? And it does appear that actually, so Brad Holder does look like he might be a higher level of a Mason than Nick McClellan. So they're both Masons. This is where he just got his Master Mason. I think that's what that means, Master, right? Master, when you're a Master Mason. I was looking into like the levels and stuff. So Brad is a steward, which is like he's already was at a master, and I think he's like taken on like I think that would be a higher role. Um uh but anyway, so there's Nick. This guy right here he's pretty high up. I forget what his thing is, but he's in like a bunch some pictures with Brad too. But yeah, so he just received his Master Mason degree this evening at Tipton Lodge number 33. That's where Brad is a member. So we have Brad actually wait, shoot, that brought up the wrong one. Hold on. We've all seen this, I know, because I mean I've been over it too. Brad, his son is receiving his Master Mason, and he's a son of a senior steward. So senior steward is just like a, I'll show you what that means. It's not really that high up, but it does seem like he's more involved in it from like pictures. If you go to like all the pictures, like he's taking he's like in all the class pictures. And Brad, I mean, not Nick, but so here's Brad with some of the guys. I just thought it was interesting because it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder if the reason that they kind of let Brad loose, not loose, but they kind of just like glossed over maybe the possible connection between Brad and everything, because if there was something more to it, you know what I'm saying? Because of, oh, he has connections, but maybe not. I'm not accusing Brad of doing anything. It just, I feel like they did. It does feel like that they didn't really give it a look at like they should have from what we know. And it makes you wonder why, because there was a connection with Abby and his son and everything else. So it's like, well, why didn't they look into him a little bit more? Is there something more to it? They're in this brotherhood, the Masons together with Nick. Did they just kind of, does he have some kind of like connections and power, and just people were just like, no, this is my buddy, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna, we're just gonna let him go. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then the one guy that sends me some stuff, so he found this where somebody says, "Are you a Mason?" But we already know that. He says, "Yes, sir." What lodge are you from? He says, "Tipton Lodge 33 in Logansport." So this is Brad talking to somebody talking about how he's a Mason. But like I said, that's not really news. And then here's some other pictures with him in it. Here but this is him when they're doing his son, when they're making his son a master. No, that's the thing, Petty. I don't think he was brought in for a polygraph. I think they just talked to him loosely like they did everybody else. I don't think they polygraphed him. Now, we know they polygraphed Brad, or not Brad, Patrick, because he said that. But that wasn't until this past August. So it's like the only reason they freaking polygraphed him and re-interviewed freaking Patrick is because the eyes were on them. It was because they were afraid of the like public and people saying, "What the heck, dude?" Because of the Frank's memorandum coming out. You know what I'm saying? I really think that's the only reason they re-brought in Brad, because, or I keep calling him Brad Patrick, because of the Franks memorandum and what Richard Allen's lawyers were gonna be about to make public. You know what I'm saying? And they knew, oh shoot, we got to cover our bases. We got to pretend that we're actually looking into this and putting some time into it. I think that's the only reason they brought Patrick back to give him a polygraph. Why wouldn't that polygraph have been years ago to begin with? You know what I'm saying? Why would it be like 6 years later? You know, I think it was just to cover their butts. I really do. Um, so yeah, but here there's a couple more pictures. So we have what? Oh, hold on. First we have to go so you could see. Hold on one second. So here, this is from. Hold on. I think this one is from. Yeah, this is from. This is one of these pictures. It's one day class from March 2016. If you click on all these pictures, one of these pictures is this. You could see there's Brad right here. So this is from 2016. I don't see Nick in here, but Nick also does go to the other lodge, the Mount Zion one. So, but they're all in the Indiana. Okay, so, but he received his Master Mason or whatever at this lodge, but it says he's a member of the Mount Zion Lodge. And then here, this is from the same day. You can see he's wearing the same thing. He's right here, right in the middle. Like, I don't know what that means, but maybe it means nothing. And then, oh, this is that one. There he is with his son. So this is from 2017 when his son became the master. And this is the class. He's in one of these pictures because, so 2017 one day class. Hold on, he's in one of those. That's why. This is that one I showed you to begin with, the Founders Day. Right here. He's with, I don't know. This is that one guy that's, he's pretty high up. I gotta look what his title is. I was going through everybody's titles. I forget what they're called, but he's like one of the higher ones. But that's what this is from. 27 Founders Day attendees. 2017. So this is January 15th, 2017 is when that picture's from. And then I think we already looked. This is that same thing from 2017. And then you can see him right here because that shirt sticks out, but that's just from, must be eaten somewhere or eaten there. I think, no, that's from when his son got it. Oh, I thought it was just kind of interesting. That they're both Masons, and it looks like that Brad was definitely a Master Mason before Nick, but I think the steward, if you're just a master, that's the highest you could be as far as on like the 3 levels, but correct me if I'm wrong, because I just started trying to learn these today, like learned about the masonry stuff. But I think the other thing, like the steward part, is just like jobs you have after, right? Uh, Wait, who's the FMs? Denied, Rick. Who's FMs? What are you saying? Aprons, Anders, Breivik photographed himself dressed up as. Okay, let's see here. I thought I had another. Oh, that might be all the pictures I have. Okay. I thought I had another one. But yeah, so it could be, there could be something to it. So there's a reason, I wanted to bring it up because there could be a reason they just kind of glossed over and didn't, the connections are everything. Like you definitely could get away with murder if you know the right people. I'm sorry. There's nothing that would convince me that can't be true in some scenarios. You know what I'm saying? It's scary, but it is. It's the way it is. I mean, power and money and connections and who you know is everything. So, yeah, definitely could be something to that. Okay, so let's get, and Freemasons, like I know I've heard people say, well, like my dad is one, or my grandpa was one actually. You hear that. It was my great grandpa though, but you hear that because I was talking, back in the day when I was telling my mom about conspiracies and like the Freemasons, because that's like all connected. Like, have you ever looked into the Denver airport and stuff, Denver International Airport and stuff? Anyway, and there's a lot coming out about that. Now, not that all Freemasons are going to be freaking murderers or involved in conspiracies and doing bad things, but the whole point is you could get away with it. So a lot of people, they hide, like they're able to do stuff and hide behind that because it's not only Masons, but I mean they usually have connections in other little groups. You know what I'm saying? So you could hide behind that. You could have power. You can know people, know people in high places with that brotherhood group, the Masons. And yeah, it could mean something. In my opinion, I don't know. From what I've learned from like if you guys look into like conspiracies and stuff, oh my god, you'll see Masons all over that crap. Sorry, my lips are always freaking chapped. At least they look like it on the camera. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah. So anybody that's studied any good conspiracy, it's like you can't study conspiracies without hearing about Masons. It's just the way it is. But like I said, that doesn't mean there is some good Masons. Not all of them are bad, but it's just it could be a reason why Brad just walked right on through to that the this case. Didn't have any problems. Didn't even get polygraphed. From what I've seen, I've never seen, because if they would have got polygraphed, they would have said, I'm sure, in the Frank's memorandum, I'm sure we would have heard about that. I don't think he did. But like I said, we don't, they're so hush hush about the whole gosh darn case. We don't know anything, really. I mean, we do, but we don't know a lot of things. So they could have, but I don't think they did. I would guess they didn't. All right, so let's start on these interviews, guys. Um, A lot, Alan. Are you serious? A lot have been. And it sucks that they get labeled conspiracies because, like, a lot, like, after knowledge is so, what's the word? Like, with the technology and stuff, people are figuring out things and finding things. And it's just becoming that a lot of this stuff, a lot of these conspiracies that are people like, oh, you're crazy. That's crazy stuff. It actually isn't so crazy. And I'm not saying, like, a lot of like I'm not saying these murder cases. So I tend to like for a lot of these murder cases, there's always a big group of the people that take the conspiracy route, and I tend to go on the other side, and I tend to try to debunk it if I can because it's not always about conspiracy. So if there's nothing to it and I'm like, no, that's you guys, you're just no, here's what this is, and I could debunk it, I will. But with this case, Alan, there's something to it. I'm going on that this side, not because it's just it is what it is. There's too much going on with this. This is one of the cases that I'm actually looking on the other side, if that makes sense. And because that's just what it is. There's too much to this one. There really is, Alan. And I'm not. If you go back through like other cases, you'll see I'm not one that just like falls or just like goes on that side when it comes to these cases. Because usually from the murder cases that I've been doing, most of them it's not. I feel like some of those conspiracies I'm like, no, but this one, dang it. This one there's something to it. There's something to it, Alan. I know you don't believe it, but this one is going to be proved to be true, I feel like. Like I don't know which one, it's just proved to be that there's something more to it than what they're saying. I can't talk today. I think I've had too much caffeine. All right, let's start this. Like not I'm not talking very good. Good thing I have like an interview interviews to watch. Some days I could talk more fluidly or wait. Oh, I exported it. Okay. What did I call it, guys, when I exported it? That is the trick. That's the thing I gotta remember. Delphi family interviews. Pretty simple. I try to keep it simple when I'm trying to do it for myself. Okay. All right. You ready, guys? Yeah, exactly. And I just wanted to, point out usually because there are people that always go that side. It's always so it's just like what they want to do and just always see it from a conspiracy side with the murder cases. Now, conspiracies in general, dude, like I'm so into a lot of them but away from the murder cases because I don't know, that's a whole different long story of of like why I feel like there's some differences as far as people like always jump into that side with any murder case. But this one, yes, 100%. There's something more to it. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell Alan. So I'm not, because Alan's saying strong on like, no corruption, no cover up, Richard's guilty. It's just the way it is, clear cut type thing, which is fine. I just don't see it like that with this.
And in the chat, Anna, where?
All right, so this is just gonna jump right in, guys. Wait, hold on 1 second. Before I start this, Melda Monday, this caught my eye. What do you mean? How about when MP bring up in a minute story about Liberty? Seems like he's putting her down. Seems weird now. Oh, really? You think that? I'll have to pay attention. In this interview with this guy, are you saying? If that's what you're talking about, I didn't catch him putting him down, but I'll be aware if that's what you're talking about. All right, so let's go.
Them to respond in the chat. Anna, where did the information for the second police sketch come from? Is there more than one suspect? My condolences to you. I pray this case is solved.
Shannon, the basic answer that we have is what we were told when we were brought in to see the second sketches. We've run this first sketch. We feel like we know who this person might be, or we've cleared up this particular person, and now
she says this 2 different times, and I don't blame her for it. I blame the law enforcement for not being clear and confusing the crap out of this family. Or is there something? Do they really know who this guy is? But the crazy thing is now, because remember, this is before Richard Allen was arrested. This was like over 3 years ago, these interviews. This is before Richard was arrested. So remember, keep that in mind. All the interviews are going to be that. So you're telling me the one now that they're saying looks more like Richard is a guy that you already knew and they cleared and they already figured out who it was. He's fine. We're not really looking into him too much anymore. We want to see this other guy. So when did we know who that guy was? You know what I'm saying? And it makes me wonder. And the reason I think this is important, it makes me wonder, is it because they realized that was Richard at the time? Because Richard came, we know he was at the park. Oh, that was Richard. Okay, he's been cleared. We talked to him. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Could it be something like that? And then all of a sudden now, all the corruption, they go back to him or something? I don't know. Weird. But she says this twice, that they know who this guy is. Meaning, hold on, this guy right here. Let me just show you real quick. So we clear up what sketches who's talking about, what they're talking about, which I know most of you guys know. Probably all of you guys know, but just to put a picture. Okay, so this guy right here. Minus this, which it shouldn't be minus this because they built this sketch to be him. But she's talking about this sketch right here. She's saying that they already talked to him. They're going a different route now. They know who he is. They talked to him and he's not, they don't think he's the guy. That's what she's saying. It's like, what? I didn't know that. Either, I don't know.
We're going to look at another person that other people also noticed might have been there that day, and now we'd like to talk to that person. If you were in a bank or in a gas station, it was robbed, the 10 people in there with you were all going to see something different. None of us see the same thing in a situation. Happens a lot. So there are a lot of sketches that were put together, and then at the end of the day, this one was the number one that most people felt comfortable with, and then the second one was the one that everybody else also thought could closely resemble or was another person. So they ran through everything they could up until, I'm going to say, mid-April of 2019, I believe, is when that sketch came out. We had the second big press release of the sketch, and we'd already had the audio and video at that time of the different things available, and that was when this sketch came forward. And at that time they said, we're changing directions. Now we want to see who else may have seen this person, because we've talked everybody else concerning the first person. And it was very confusing, and it was like, wait, we've put all this faith into this first sketch for all this time. This is who we thought we were looking for, and now we've changed our minds. And they're like, no, we just want to know who else was out there that day and go over this. So not a complete dismissal, but a change in directions.
Okay. And so they released first the Get Down the Hill, then later the Guys, right? Because I saw some people saying it was all together one sentence. I'm saying it wasn't. What do we know as far as that for sure? I've read all different things, so I want to get it from you to make sure.
There is less than a 3-second gap of the Guys and Down the Hill in all legitimate form about the time that somebody would to greet you and you were to respond and then say Down the Hill is the amount of time. Hey guys, Down the Hill. There's not long minutes of pause. There is seconds of pause.
So it could be that the girls were even responding, but they muted that part out or something?
I don't even think it was that. It might have been, as rude as it sounds, the typical teenager, huh? What? There's a brief, like I said, a half second to a second pause of the actuality between what they've said, to where they said it's not even worth messaging. Let's not care what the girls might have said in that, huh, what, excuse me type situation. It was a legit, hey guys, and then Down the Hill. That was the most important part.
Okay. Jake Knauer asks, have police confirmed if they believe this person or persons had found Libby and Abby online or had some kind of fake profile where they could have been tracking them? Well, obviously that wouldn't be confirmed, but has there been any talk of that?
I could not 100% confirm, but I confirm safely enough that we signed paperwork for them to go on their Gmail and their Apple accounts to go through all of their social media, and had at no time found that they were being followed. We're supposed to be meeting somebody. We have no reason to believe in any way, which is also the reason why no Amber Alert was issued. People questioned us about that to begin with. No suspicious car, no inclination that they were meeting anybody that might have been different than who they said, because they weren't meeting anybody. They woke up and wanted to go and they went. So we feel like very strongly they've gone through all of those possibilities, and we have no reason to believe that they were meeting somebody that wasn't who they said, or that they had fake profiles. Abby did have a Facebook profile that I was unaware of, because she knew I didn't let her have one until she was 14, much like she couldn't date. Not huge rules, people. I mean, Facebook said, and I said, you may not date, and you may not have, and you cannot have a cell phone until these things. And she hid it from me, but it also said she worked at the Krusty Krab. Or the Flora Pizza King, or something asinine like that, where I was like, well, anybody that lives here knows that this place doesn't have a thing. Like, that's a whole, not so much fake, but, they reference SpongeBob. I mean.
But Alan, sorry, I'm like getting involved in the chat, what you guys are talking about in the chat. But you have to remember, that is what we're saying, is that there isn't. Hold on. I lost my train of thought, mid-thought. I'm telling you, it's one of those days. I can't wait for the Rumble to just be stupid. Okay, so, what was I going to say? So that's not what I was saying. I was saying that they're similar as far as people making stuff up, lack of information. But that goes on both sides. So I feel like the reason why a lot of this stuff even started to snowball is because of the stuff made up on the other freaking side. This stuff, I feel like they freaking gaslit us, in a weird in a simple little way with those gosh darn freaking sketches and stuff. I just feel like it was just ridiculous. And I feel like that they screwed it up so big time. If they would have just been honest and went about it like a normal gosh darn freaking case, I think we would have had the guy, or we would have been a lot closer. No, I don't agree. I think law enforcement really screwed this up so bad from day one. And I don't know if maybe it was just like that they, no, I think it's definitely more than that. I was going to say, like, a part of it is that years went by and they realized that it was screwed up and they didn't want to admit it and didn't want to turn back, and they knew they screwed it up and didn't know what to do. So just kept going with the stupid lies. But I think it's deeper. It's definitely deeper than that because of the corruption there. But, yeah. And look at freaking, Liggett. I mean, what did you think about the Frank's memorandum, Alan? There's some things that you can't disprove. There's some things that the facts are there to back it up with that. Yeah, some of the things are the way that they perceived it, and sometimes, oh, maybe that's not how everybody would perceive it. Yeah, I get that. But some things were backed up by facts, interviews, documents that you can't even deny. How can you keep trusting the other side? How can you keep trusting the prosecution in the state in the law enforcement team, the unified command? How can you keep trusting that if we see that they freaking, what they did, like, that just wasn't cool. And I know sometimes people lie in investigations to get what they got to get done sometimes, but this was a little past that point. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't like the normal stuff that goes on, in my opinion. This was not, no, this was different. Because it happens. It's normal, I feel like, in investigations to a point. You'll probably see a little bit of that crap in all investigations. I'm not saying it's right, but sometimes they just do, little things to get the guy that they need because they know it's him. But this was way different. I don't think I don't know. I doubt that they got the right person, Alan. That's what's really scaring all of us, because what if they didn't get the right person and they did all this corruption crap and just abuse the system, just the way that they just, like, the way they did everything. And then it could be the wrong guy. Wouldn't you feel horrible? And I know you could say that with any case, but this one is more likely than all the other cases, I feel like, than any cases I've ever seen that people have tried to find, corruption. Because I think there's corruption in everywhere. There's going to be a little bit of corruption because everybody's human, and there's always bad. There's always going to be some bad in every organization. You're going to have bad people. So you're going to have corruption everywhere. But when it comes to this level of it, where it's so deeply ingrained in everything, it's where you got a problem. I hope, Alan, I hope they could convince me that it makes sense, Anyway, all right.
Right.
Not the brightest at the time for that particular deal. I mean,
I think any kid at age is going to try to get a Facebook behind your back, right? I mean, that's totally. That was while I was in AOL chat rooms. I'm sorry.
Yeah. There are worse things that kids were doing probably at that age. So this was like, at the end of the day, when I saw it, I was like, grounded again. Here we are, grounded again. So.
Southern Witch asked, were the girls seen by anyone else at the trails?
I don't have an actual witness count from that day as far as how many people were out there, but I know that it was a fair day of over 50 degrees. Lots of people said, yeah, our kids were out walking about that day, but I couldn't tell you how many. I believe the count is at least 50. There are people that have pressed to actually have the names and numbers actually released for whatever reason, like that's supposed to help, because you can just, it's an active investigation, people. You don't get to demand anything from the police department. I don't care if you go to the Attorney General and sign your petitions. They will do what they have to. And so I know what I know, and that was a nice enough day that lots of people that we know throughout the community said, yeah, we were out there earlier. Yeah, we were out there later, and we know this, we know that, or we didn't see, or we didn't. Yeah. I would say a fair number is 50 people out around.
Did anybody else realize that there was that many people out there that day? Because I didn't. And I know she's talking about around that time, so it could have been a little bit before, a little bit after. But I didn't realize that there were so many witnesses and so many people out around putting in, like, giving their input on that. I guess there probably was more than what the names that we know of. I mean, but I was just like, if you go through Reddit and go through, you know, all the known witnesses and stuff, it doesn't come to 50 in my eye. I mean, do you guys think that there's like 50 of people you know that was out there? I thought it was pretty secluded that day, but I don't know. Oh, Dustin, you never emailed me. Are you talking about are you sure I have the scanner? We have the scanner from that search. I was actually gonna play it one live since I haven't listened to it in a while with everybody. But you're saying there's a different one? Send it to me. Are you sure it's not the same one that we've heard? Because that's been out for a while. And if you're saying there's a new scanner, is it like, where's it from?
That day.
Lollipop asks, what changed law enforcement's mind about the first sketch and put out a much younger second sketch? But do you want to go over how the sketches came about or anything like that?
Sure. We touched on that briefly earlier, but again, the original sketch was the most popular of the sketches that were put together in the initial investigation. Ellie felt like they had cleared and gone through all of the tips and felt like they had a good understanding of who the first sketch guy was, the BG. Felt like they had cleared all of those rumors and speculations to who that was up, and then now concentrated on another person that other people recognize as being out there that day. Another sketch collaborated that was basically second runner-up.
So did you hear what she said? They cleared up the first guy, BG, so she threw in the BG, so almost saying that first sketch was BG. They cleared him, they talked to him. That's not who they're interested in. Unless if she's got wrong information, did somebody tell her that? Which, the reason I feel like it's so interesting now is because I do think that BG, the guy at least that we see on the video, could still possibly be Richard. But I'm just not convinced that that person is the guy that committed this murder, right? So that would kind of go along with what she's saying. They already cleared that guy. They don't think he's the guy they're looking for. I don't know. I mean, that's what she's saying. Did you guys hear that? No more than 20? Okay. Are you talking about the Ron Logan interview that I played where the girls, she doesn't tell him she's interviewing him, she goes and talks to him? Because we listened to that, the one that was like somebody went into his house or whatever, and she was like recording him. I played that before, actually. We could listen to it again. I think that's the one you're talking about. Because it's not really widely spread out there. I was actually just found that. I was looking for that because I played it like a couple weeks ago, probably like a month ago, maybe. I don't know. And I was like, shoot, what did I do with that video? So I know exactly where it's at now. Well, send it to me. Are you sure? I think the Ron one you're talking about is the same one that. Okay, where was the Ron one from? Delphi Town Council meeting of the case. And money being sent for the... Yeah, the Delphi... I've seen the Delphi Town Council meeting where they're talking about the money and McClellan's talking... McClellan's there. We could watch that together. It's on... I'm trying to think who put it... Hold on a second. I'm trying to think where I've seen it. I could find it. They're talking about getting the money and getting help and stuff. Like the $4,000 or something where Nick is there at the town council meeting. I actually seen that. So... I don't know. If anybody hasn't seen it, we could watch it together. But I don't know about the scanner. Send it to me if you want. I've seen, I've seen a lot of new things like that, but I feel like I don't know if you guys have seen it. Things that I'm running into like that. Well, the Ron Logan one I already played. I don't think I played the town council meeting. Have you guys seen it? Anyway, let's continue. I'll find it if you want.
Whether first and second were together or separate, whether one was involved and the other was not. They didn't know who the bridge guy was. We didn't know who for sure. People kind
But
of put
Dustin, if you want, why are you saying this? Do you want to send it and see, or not? I mean, are you just coming to tell us that and then just that's it, or why are you coming into saying that? Are you going to send it and see? If anything, send me the scanner because I'm pretty sure I have the town council meeting because I'm sure there's only one town council meeting. You know what I'm saying? The one where they're talking about getting the money. Nick's in there talking about getting the money. So I'm pretty sure I could already get that. I'm pretty sure the Ron Logan I already have too. But the scanner, if you're saying there's a new scanner, send that to me. If you want, it's up to you. If not, then I don't know why, what you're... If you have it and you want us to listen, send it. This is the only thing I really have planned is watching these interviews. I'm going to do a rumble, but
a sketch together and said, yeah, that's what we feel this guy looked like. And again, if you're in a bank or a grocery store and it's being robbed, you're not going to see the same thing as your neighboring.
But wait, Dustin, how do you know what town council meeting that I'm talking about though? But you're saying no, I've seen that. Like, but how do you know it's? How do you know that it's not the one that you've seen? Because you're describing it, and that's exactly what happens in the one I've seen. They're talking about getting the money, and he's talking about getting help, and it's like it's a pretty long meeting. It's the whole meeting. It's out there. And if not, then I mean I've seen one where they talked about the same stuff. So if you're saying there's two of them that they're talking about it, I mean, I don't know how much really. All right. All right.
Hostages are, so to speak. You're not going to see what color shirt, his hair color. You're all going to get something different. So that was a collaboration of, and that's where we feel like the second sketch comes from also, is that we had the first sketch that most people believed was out there that day of that gentleman. And the second one was another person they also felt was out there that day that they may not have known.
But thank you, because I think everything that she's saying, I believe it's two different guys. I believe people sold two different people. So I think she's making the most sense out of everyone. But my only curiosity is, where is she getting that information? Did law enforcement tell her that? Because if that's the case, they're coming out freaking telling us a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like they misled the public so much with how they came out and told us stuff. And then how one person would say one thing and one would say the other. It was just like, how are you guys unified? Unified command. How are you guys like together on what you all should think the same freaking thing? You all are working as a team. It should be the same thing. One person shouldn't go around giving interviews saying one thing and the other person saying the other. And you need the public to help. And we're like sitting here all confused. What the heck are you guys looking for? We don't even know what the heck you want. You know? Screwed it up.
I think she's talking about the police and Marie Price. They have some retiring. How do you feel since they were on the case from, I guess, the beginning, she's going to say?
We have had some local retirees. We've had a mayor that's changed jobs. Chief of police has changed the courthouse. There was a couple of months where there was folks leaving and shifting jobs. And a very close friend of mine and I, when it would come up, I was like, are we rallying? Is something big about to happen? Or do we just like circumstances come up and jobs change? And that's what it is. Circumstances and jobs change.
See, I'm willing to tell her, no, go with your first thought, girl. Go with your first thought. Because you were thinking on the right track and then somebody convinced you otherwise, is how I just took that. Like, she's probably on the right track and then somebody's like, no, that's just normal. And then she got manipulated into thinking it was normal. I know, I'm probably silly right now, but I think a lot of you guys agree probably, right? And Alan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like point you out, but I just wanted to, I just like discussing or debating with you on stuff because we think so different on everything. So I hope I didn't cause like a big thing in the chat.
It seems hard to believe that, you know, some of the folks retiring, but Riley has done a great job for a very many of years. He has worked so many cases, and he's probably due for this retirement. He has been, much like the rest, has been a wonderful blessing to this family throughout this. We've had the pleasure of visiting with him on and off camera, on the investigation and on personal notes over dinner throughout this, all of this. He's traveled with us, amongst him, Holman, and so many others that we've been gracious enough to be personally in our hearts. These people are family. They think about us the way they do about their children and their grandchildren. And that is blessing of a small town. And it's difficult, but not because we're worried of some big underlying scheme of allegations of this, that, and the other thing where people are being booted out because they didn't do a good job and they covered things up. It's a small town, and mayors are mayors, and then they move on, and chief of polices get to do other opportunities, and then people get to retire someday.
Dustin, that's cool, but do you want to share it with us? Or are you just trying to use this as like a promotion or something? Like you come in here, you say all this stuff. If you want to watch it, if you want to share it, let's do it. If not, I don't understand what you're trying to do. I'm a little bit confused. I do think, though, the two things I do think is the same ones. But prove me wrong. Send me what you got. I'm just a little bit confused what you're doing here. I mean, what your point is by you keep saying it, but everybody's in here. We're just trying to have a live. I mean, I'm confused. What are you trying to like take people away from here to go? I don't know. I don't think you are. I'm just confused what the point is then. If the point is that you want to share it and we can watch it and that's why you're telling us, if not, like, yeah, I mean, send me a link of your stuff someday. I'll come check it out. But right now it's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe I am a little tense from, anyway, okay. So I think she was onto the right thing here. That's the thing. I feel like I like her. I do. I feel like, just like interviews I've seen, she's like the most, I feel like like if she would just listen to her gut, like I feel like she would know, but she's being influenced because the minute she starts thinking, I just feel like she has a good like instinct naturally from, I don't know why I get that from her, but then I feel like then she gets swayed, you know what I'm saying? And she's just trusting the wrong people, but I don't know. I think, I like her for some reason.
No, absolutely no pressure. A lot of people are saying something about your brother releasing information. How do you feel about it? And then other people, and I'm not saying this, I'm just saying what I'm reading, that what are your thoughts on Kelsey's inconsistencies? It's just what a few people have said.
So, two different things. One, some people took advantage of a lot of our family members in the early stages, and I do know what you're talking about my brother specifically, who was a volunteer firefighter at the time. But the same thing that I had talked to you is that so many things that happened in the early stages when we thought two little girls were grounded for a year because they were hiding out somewhere that didn't actually happen. We could have stopped a lot of that if we weren't so actively out helping and looking. I personally was at the firehouse a lot of the time, waiting very patiently for these two little brats to show back up and be grounded for the rest of their lives, while other family members were actively out there. Rumors started so very early that my brother felt compelled out of his anger to probably try to clear up things, and probably shouldn't have tried to help because it made things worse. And I won't touch on those directly, but I know of the messages that came up, and I remember the conversation. I said, I understand how you feel about the rumors. I mean, I just heard through Reddit that my kid was pregnant, allegedly. So, or one of them was pregnant, and that's why they were killed. I've since heard that it's my fault that the girls are dead because I've had a lot of boyfriends. Probably made somebody sick, and that's why they killed them. I've heard everything under the sun. It's aggravating and frustrating that people say things about that little angel right there that people can even, and they like to dwell on it.
Child, guys, a child.
Yeah, little person. And that's very difficult. As far as inconsistencies that people say allegedly from Kelsey, ask me what I wore that day, or what time I left the house, or what time I specifically got the phone call, or who was with me. I couldn't tell you. It's not inconsistencies or changing the story any more than people said that there was a picture of Abby on the bridge wearing a sweater that I took a picture in by another bridge, and that it was the same bridge, and it's not the same bridge, and it's not the same jacket. And at the end of the day, it's a jacket, and it had no bearing on anything, but people sure wanted to dwell. Focus on the timelines as best we can, because none of you remember what all you did yesterday and what time specifically. It's all an approximate at the best we can. And sometimes we were asked to recall this days upon days, and then weeks and months, and then a year after the fact.
I have a question, guys. Am I glitching or blurry? Because it's showing my service is really bad right up top. So, hold on, let me bring up my YouTube. I'm just curious if it's showing on my YouTube. Let me see real quick. No, it doesn't look bad, right? I think it's looking okay. Okay. Huh. It's just showing that I'm getting bad service. Yeah, actually, she looks good. Okay. What were we talking? Oh, hold on. Let me keep up YouTube side in case if I want to do a poll or anything. Hey Alyssa, hey Kate, what up? What up? So you know who I really like though, and I don't think she's probably one of the only ones that isn't. I feel like brainwashed or whatever, which is fine. I mean, people are human. I feel like I don't think it's intentional with Abby's mom. I don't think it's like intentional, but I do think if she would have just trust her gut and her instinct with everything, she would be on to something more than like maybe saying something like and then being swayed the other way. But you know who I think is like very separate? Libby's mom. I remember we were talking about her on like I think it was a couple weeks ago, a live. I think it was the live where we watched her part with the documentary. I feel like she's just like, she knows what's up. Like, I feel like she's not going to be manipulated. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I've only seen some interviews, so I don't really, just from what I've seen in the interviews. I could be wrong, in person, I don't know. But it just seems like she's not manipulated by law enforcement. She's not manipulated by family. She's just like her own person and is just like, whatever, dude. Like, I feel like if anything that she would be the one to talk to. Huh. Yeah. Anyway.
Where I'm still trying to remember what day of the week it was and what all happened, and going through time schedules to know for sure, because it's so in your mind of every moment of how you felt that day. But don't ask me what time it was.
Sweet.
Right.
I know about the time because of the records, but that's about it.
This is another one I bring it up just for the sake of thoroughness, but again, you might know an answer, particularly because it involves someone young. But someone asked about Abby's boyfriend.
Oh, yes, there was a young man that apparently she was seeing, much like the Facebook thing. Apparently, there was a young man from a neighboring school that she had come into contact with. They appeared to have been hanging out.
Remember who she's talking about here. Who is her boyfriend? Holder. Logan Holder. So remember that when she's talking here about her boyfriend.
A little bit. Since young man has moved on reasonably well, has a very good career in life, has chosen very good path.
I don't know what does anybody know?
He was a little bit older, and
I was going to say he must have been, yeah.
Not by much. So literally, Abby would have been 17 in June.
17.
That
Yeah.
would make him 18, almost 19 at this point. So he was at least a grade, if not a grade, and then a little bit older than that if he was a late start birthday. I think he was. As far as where the birthdays fall and when you can start school. His family's doing well. His family's doing well, and I remember standing in a large chain store looking at stove with my significant other, and out of the middle of nowhere he says, I hope she got her first kiss. And I was like, I beg your pardon. He was like, she was a good kid. I hope she at least got some of the first. I was like, no, they held hands and stayed 6 feet apart the rest of the time because I will not have any of this.
So I'm confused. Okay, she's talking about his family and oh, they're good, they're doing good or whatever. And then she goes on to the story about somebody coming up to her in the store saying, I hope she got her first kiss. Almost like set it up where she was going to talk about like his dad or the family is saying that. But then what she says about it's confusing because you wouldn't think that his dad would have went up and said that to her. Like, oh, I hope that she got her first kiss. So I'm a little bit confused, that whole setup on that. And then what she said. Was she talking about Brad as the one, like his family's the one that said that? Or did it just get set up weird where it seemed like she was going to go on to say something about his family and then it was about somebody random that approached her in the store? I don't know. But yeah, this is the holders that she's talking about. So it just makes you, now that we know like all about them, she's talking about, oh yeah, their family's doing real well. Yeah, I bet you they freaking are. We got a Freemason guy that has connections probably. I'm sure he is doing well. But what does Logan do? Because she said he chose a good path. I don't know what he does. I think she met her, so. Wait, what do you mean her, Petty? Can you what are you saying? I'm going to rewind that just a little bit so you could see the setup. She definitely sets it up where you're going to think it's like a family member approaching her in the store. But unless if a family member approached her and said, hey, I hope Abby got, basically I hope like my son and Abby kissed or what, they got her first kiss. If that's the case, then that would be weird for like his dad to say that. I don't know. I'm going to just rewind it a little bit so you guys could see what I'm talking about.
His family's doing well. His family's doing well, and I remember standing in a large chain store looking at stove with my significant other, and out of the middle of nowhere he says, I hope she got her first.
Oh, you're right, Patty. She is talking about her husband. Oh my God, see? I think because this whole time I was expecting her to somehow, she set it up that I was thinking she was going to talk about his family, that I was just automatically thinking it was an outsider she was talking about. You're right. She was talking about her significant other said that. Okay. But how did that lead into that? That, well, I guess because they were talking about him, but it was just weird, kind of. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay, so is that what he got into then? Which could be a good job. I mean, yeah, I could see her, I would never be able to do something like that, but it could be like a good career. What are you saying? It didn't?
Kiss, and I was like, I beg your pardon. He was like, she was a good kid. I hope she at least got some of the first. I was like, no, they held hands and stayed 6 feet apart the rest of the time because I will not have any of this. But in my heart of hearts, he cared about her in the time that they knew each other, and their family experienced a difficult time because of what had happened here, because they were questioned extensively. But yes, there was a boy, and he's doing quite well and is moving forward in life.
So she says they were questioned extensively. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think they're questioned appropriately, though? For now knowing about the whole Odinism and that whole side of it. Am I glitching, guys, or not? God, it's still really low. Is it or not?
Well, Dixie asks, did Abby call? I know the answer to this, but I don't know how many people in the chat do. So did she call you and ask to go to the trail? Just to clear it up for people who don't know.
No, she did not call and ask me to go to the trail. She asked if she could stay at their house, and I said that was fine, but I had to go to my second job, and if she couldn't stay till 8 o'clock, then she needed to come home and I would pick her up. They said no, she was fine until that time, which was after dinner, which is all she asked about. And I remember Becky mentioning it to me in an interview after. She goes, I never even asked you. I said, well, wouldn't matter if you did or not. I trusted her to go to Florida with you guys. I didn't ask what you did in the county. Like, you're at their house. If I trust you to be there, then whatever they choose, for the most part, is acceptable. And so she was there in their care, and I know they did the absolute best. That's all there was to it.
Wait, what are you saying? What? You said, wait, what? 2 years after the victim was dead? Hardly relevant. Wait, what are you saying? What do you mean? Okay.
Do you want to ask this question, Grotto? This looks like a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Anna, what are your thoughts on why LE said the crime scene was strange and that they think they were onto something early on, but someone led the investigation? Well, this goes into a question, but someone led the investigation down the wrong path.
How did that person knew? That's exactly what we ended up finding out. Did you see that question? None of us knew. At least, I mean, maybe some people did. I didn't know about any of that stuff before that in the Frank's memorandum. But look, this person obviously knows. At least maybe they heard rumors. So somebody, it must have got out a little bit. Strange, and they think they're onto something early on, but someone led the investigation down the wrong path. Interesting, huh? But I guess that goes back to what's his name, the guy that said that oh my god, Thomas, what was said back then. So maybe there was talk of that, about how it was going down the wrong path. But this just means a lot more now with everything. I feel like that question.
Do you want to ask this question, Grotto? This looks like a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Anna, what are your thoughts on why LE said the crime scene was strange and that they think they were onto something early on, but someone led the investigation? Well, this goes into a question, but someone led the investigation down the wrong path.
That's a unique question, only because I don't think I've ever heard it put that way. Location-wise, was not where the girls were found was not an easily accessible area, fairly much debunking the rumors that they were taken from and brought back to their resting place. I have been there personally, and when I set foot on the ground, I said, this is the spot. And I looked, and I turned around, and I looked, and I was like, so they didn't leave here, it doesn't seem. And he was like, we didn't really think they had. I was like, well, yeah, but now I physically see that Abby might have been a little tiny person and Libby was a little bit bigger than that, but it would have been very difficult for somebody to have removed them alive or deceased and then bring them back. So there's that. As far as the rest of that question, I can't.
No, I'm not talking. I know, Sweet Dudley. I know I've talked about the crime scene. I'm not talking about that part, because that part, there was rumors to be out how the crime scene was unique and signatures and stuff like that. But I'm talking about the part where they were onto something early on, but then got taken down the wrong path. But I think with the whole Thomas thing too, that could be kind of inferred from that. So I guess taking little pieces of what was known back then, I guess you could have put it together like that and it would have been known. So but I just now knowing everything, it's like interesting question, because I think, at least for me, if I were, when I was watching this back then, it doesn't mean the same thing if I watched it back then than it would right now watching it. That question, I mean. But maybe to some of you that was maybe a little bit more into the case. Okay, thanks, Dustin. When you sent me which video, well, I'll check. Hold on.
Can't say that I've ever heard anything similar to that ever being brought up as to I guess I don't know what was so unique or troublesome or questionable about it to why they thought that.
Speaking of your jobs and things like that, you had said something to me. I don't know if you wanted to go into too much detail on it here, but you had talked about certain people whose names have come up and that you actually had worked with one of them in the past. And, you thought pretty highly of them, was my understanding. Do you want to go into detail on that, or?
Yes and no. As far as the person you're speaking of being Ron Logan, the property where the girls were found, and that was one of the first people they talked to us about. And I knew Ron on a personal note well before this, and I regret to say that I've not had the opportunity to personally speak with him, and I've seen him a couple of times in social situations, and did not feel like it was a good time or it was too confrontational for anybody to come up and say, look, I know that you and I both know each other from all these years ago, and never once when they said, well, we think, did I say, oh yeah, absolutely not. I thought they were outside of their mind. It didn't make any sense. I was like, I only know them, in this type of atmosphere, but nothing I ever saw made me think that was that kind of a guy. I mean, obviously, nobody, including all of our family, has ever been cleared of anything like this on the most official of capacities. But Ron has not been looked at for a considerable amount of time because they do know where he was, and it was an unfortunate circumstance that his property line was where the girls were found.
So the question was about a guy that she worked with. So did she work with Ron? Does anybody know the information? Because I know a lot of you guys know a lot more of the little details because you've been following it like so close for all these years. I've been following other cases more closely. You know what I'm saying? I've done multiple cases. I haven't stuck with this one for all these years. So I don't know a lot of these little details. So what did they do together? Work. They have a work relationship, it sounds like, as far as with Ron. Does anybody know how they know each other? All right, I'll continue. Yeah, those videos you got me. I've watched that channel. So yeah, I have seen that. But that's not the meeting I was talking about. There's another meeting where McClellan's in there. I just kind of skimmed through that, but there's another meeting where they're talking about the money and trying to get, I think it's like $4,000 more or something. He's trying to get extra help. Just the way you described it, it sounded more like that than what you sent me. But yeah, that channel, I'm aware of that. I've watched their videos because they got a lot of good Delphi videos. But I don't know. All right.
Out.
At I can't remember the name of the property. They said no one is even home at that time.
Correct. It was about Logan's property. He was out, I believe, taking things to the dump, and then went to a neighboring establishment. So he was not supposed to be driving at that time, I believe, like legally speaking. And that was the long and the short of it in that situation.
They had Derek got up and made them pancakes for breakfast about 10 o'clock.
Starting to see, I was looking at my email and I missed. What did she just say that? Because at each point I had something to add, like I wanted to discuss. What did Abby's mom just say? I just missed that last part. Let me just see. Sorry.
To come up and say, look, I know that you and I both know each other from all these years ago, and never once when they said, well, we think, did I say, oh yeah, absolutely not. I thought they were outside of their mind. It didn't make any sense. I was like, I only know them, in this type of atmosphere, but nothing I ever saw made me think that was that kind of.
I rewound it a lot, but we'll just. Thanks, Patty. Oh, who won? Who got it? Let's see. Who gets it? We have Phoenix Digital Alyssa! Wolfpack! Yay! Who else? Because that's 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be one more. Who did I miss? Oh, Ashley's World. Okay. Wow. Yay. Cool. Thank you.
A guy. I mean, obviously, nobody, including all of our family, has ever been cleared of anything like this on the most official of capacities. But Ron has not been looked at for a considerable amount of time because they do know where he was, and it was an unfortunate circumstance that his property line was where the girls were found.
At the I can't remember the name of.
See, I do disagree with them knowing what Ron is because I do still think it's not that. They're not so sure. I mean, he could have definitely been involved. I'm not convinced he was, but not because, like, oh, yeah, he has a good alibi. He's got a solid alibi. He couldn't have done it. Not because of that, but more just because, I don't know. I mean, I guess he could have some kind of part in it. I just don't think he's Bridge guy. I don't think he looks like the Brit. At least I don't think he's the guy in the video, I should say. But I guess that doesn't mean crap because I'm not even convinced what the part that guy played in it. But I do think that there's more than one person. So, what do you guys think with Ron?
The name of the property, but they said no one is even home at that time.
Correct. It was about Logan's property. He was out, I believe, taking things to the dump, and then went to a neighboring establishment. So he was not supposed to be driving at that time, I believe, like legally speaking. And that was the long and the short of it in that situation.
They had Derek got up and made them pancakes for breakfast about 10 o'clock or so. And they were piddling around here, and Libby wanted to.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, see, it could be like, oh, why would he leave him right there? He could have hit him. Why would he leave him right there on his property line? But, sometimes it's the point of people think nobody would ever expect it if it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I just leave him here, be like, well, why would he be that stupid to just leave him right out here in the open? Some people think that way too. But I do agree. I don't think that it was him either. But sometimes people think weird ways. Like, for instance, a lot of people's argument with Richard was, well, why would he even call and admit that he was there? But now, like I said, of course, I'm not convinced Richard's the guy, but for that point, I do feel like that would be a common thing that somebody would do that's guilty, though. And I'm not saying I think he's guilty because, like I said, you know how I feel. I'm seriously doubting his guilt. And if for some reason he is involved, I think he's not the only one involved, and there's other people involved. I don't know what his part is if he is involved, but I'm not convinced that he did it. I'm not convinced he didn't either. I don't know. Like I've said, if I was on a jury right now and this was presented, I would have to say not guilty, because not saying that I could say 100% he's innocent, but I can't say 100% that he's guilty either. I have enough freaking reasonable doubt that I wouldn't even struggle with saying not guilty if I was on the jury. With what we know, if the bullet's really the only main evidence and there's no connection with him and the girls, it wouldn't be one of those things where it's like, oh, what should I vote? It'd be like not guilty, but not because I think, 100% he didn't do it, like I said, but there's just way too much reasonable doubt. But what I'm saying is as far as somebody calling in and saying, hey, yeah, I was there, no, I think it would be better, smarter criminal to call in and say I was there, because you don't know if somebody saw you, so you want to act like I'm not guilty, I'm not gonna hide, like I'm gonna pretend, hey, I have nothing to hide. Yeah, I was there that day. Oh my God, I didn't see anything. I left at this time, just in case if a camera caught your car, or in case somebody saw you there. Because then if you don't come forward and then somebody does say, hey, I saw him there, I saw him driving, oh, he was there, I saw him walking, and then he looks way more guilty. How are you going to explain that? And then they're going to be like, why didn't you come forward? And then all eyes are going to be on you, because what are you hiding? If you're not guilty, why didn't you just say you were there? So I don't think it's weird of a guilty person calling. Because I remember getting a lot of that in the beginning, like, why would he even call? No, that would be smarter. You would want to do that because you were there. So you want to make sure, dude, because somebody could have saw you. You're in a public place. You got a car there, you got everything. So you want to make sure that hey, I have nothing to hide, you know? Well, you want people to think that. So I don't think it would be weird either way for him to call. I don't think that means that he's innocent because he admitted that he was there. I think it's, you would want to do that. In my opinion, you'd be more willing to get caught if the other way. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody, you're in a public spot. He did see, you know, he saw people there. So the chances of somebody seeing you, well, yeah, people did see him. Anyway, hey Tom, what up, what up? Anyway. Yeah, that would be stupid, but I don't know, people are stupider, stupider. There are people, criminals sometimes are dumb in certain ways and they do things and maybe for like I said, I'm not convinced he did it, but let's say if he did, maybe it was for like some kind of trophy just to have a remembrance. Think just being so cocky, I'm not gonna get caught, I could keep, I don't know, whatever the reasons, but yeah, that part you wouldn't think that he would have the same coat. But are we even sure that he, whatever they found was the same though? Maybe they found a blue coat, but are we even sure? Are they saying that it was that same coat? Because you would think after that many years, but maybe so many years passed and he's like, hey, they're not catching me, so I don't need to throw it away. But like I said, I still have my doubts. I do have my doubts, but I'm just giving different scenarios because I like to look at it from both sides. I don't want to be blinded on one side. I want to keep my eye on both sides because, like I said, I'm not 100% convinced he's innocent. I'm not. I wouldn't bet my life on it that he has nothing to do with it. I wouldn't bet my life either way on it because I don't know. It's tricky. But like I said, it's enough where I would not be able to say guilty at a trial. If I was a jury member, I would never, there's no way I wouldn't, I mean, no way. I couldn't. That's somebody's life and there's too much doubt. Unless if they have some kind of smoking gun up their sleeve. I highly doubt, but we'll see, Alan. We'll see, buddy. And then I will say, hey, Alan, I'm sorry. You were right. Because I don't know. I highly doubt that they do, but I don't think they have any connection. I don't. Yeah, we don't. That's what I'm saying. We don't. I don't even know. We don't know if it's the same code. I mean, we don't really know much, but I do know that they better have more than that gosh darn bullet, because that's not crap. That's junk science, number one. Number two, easy to frame, easy to plant all that. Well, a bullet, that'd be so easy to make that. You know what I'm saying? No, that's not going to be enough. And I don't think that'll be enough in any eyes of the jury, to be honest. I just hope whoever's defending Alan brings up like how that science isn't really that good. It's not like, like DNA where even DNA could have a little bit of, well, they could all have mistakes, but doesn't compare anything to like DNA science. But let's say the state presents it like, hey, this is like science here. Look, this has these markings and this came from that gun, and they present it like that. I mean, I guess it could fool some jury members if they don't go and do research on their own to see that no, it's not as good as what you might be led to believe. But that's what I'm worried, because if they let Labrado and Scremin, I'm not so sure that they're going to bring in the anti-expert. Remember, I was going over that in the research. There's something called an anti-expert, where to refute experts, to say, hey, this isn't, no, there could be mistakes in this, and give like examples and research on how it's not as it seems, as perfect as it seems. So hopefully his lawyers will bring that up, because that is important. Because the jury, I guess, it could get sold on that. Like, ooh, wait a minute, that had to come from his gun. Look, it's the science, it's the markings. There's no mistakes about it. So you know what I'm saying? I just hope it's an expert and they don't just counter their expert. They actually bring in another one to show it, Let's hope. Oh, John, hey, what's up? Yay, what up? What up? How are you? We're still doing Delphi. But come over to Rumble. Rumble, I do after party. It's called after hours at Rumble, or anything. We can talk about whatever. I'm going to be doing it after this. But yeah, nice to see you, and thanks for the super chat. Okay, so let's continue this. So now we're on Mike and Becky's interview.
Do something, but I told her that I was working and I couldn't do anything right then, but if she would help file some files for me, that we would do something later. So that's what they were doing. Was she was fiddling as much as she was filing. She came in and we had just gotten a new puppy, and she was sitting on the floor playing with the puppy and stuff, and Kelsey came in, it was probably close to 1 maybe, and said, hey, I'm going to my boyfriend's house before I go to work. And Libby jumped up and said, hey, if you're going to go to town, could you take us to the trails? She asked me if it was okay if they went, and I said, well, I don't have time to come and pick you up when you're done, so you're going to have to get a ride home. They ran in the house, and she came out, and I said, do you have a ride home? And she said yes. So they left. It was probably around 1:30, and Kelsey.
Man, did I cut it in? Because right before this, she talks about how Libby was doing the filing for her. Did that part play? Hold on a second. It was supposed to be in there. Let me just see if I accidentally cut that out, and then I'll fast forward back to 22 minutes. Because that's why I included that part. I wanted to talk about that whole filing thing. Hold on. Let's see.
Derek got up and made them pancakes for breakfast about 10 o'clock or so. And they were piddling around here, and Libby wanted to do something, but I told her that I was working and I couldn't do anything right then, but if she would help file some files for me, that we would do something later. So that's what they were doing. Was she was piddling as much as she was.
So I have a question. She says Libby, and then she switches to they, and then goes back to she. So was Abby help filing or not, I wonder? Because it went back three different ways. It was Libby, they, and then she, as far as them filing. And I was just curious if it was just Libby filing, or did she have them both file? And I know there's this thing, this issue, or people are worried as far as the whole filing. I guess you could call it a conspiracy. I don't know what to label all these little side things, like, because everybody has their own beliefs about, like, little specific things about this case, right? So as far as the whole Flora fire thing, and her being the one that did the appraisal, took the pictures, had Libby supposedly maybe help with pictures. There's the rumor if Libby had pictures on her phone, because the whole thing where Libby's phone reset, their explanation is that she wasn't getting something about pictures. She wasn't able to, wasn't it something like she wasn't able to send, the pictures weren't coming through or something, where she had to reset her phone. And then the whole thing where it was supposedly she was help filing for that case, the Flora fire case. And we all know there's something up with that. A lot of people think they're connected. I do think there's a good possibility there's some kind of connection between the two. And it is really weird that this all happened and she was the one doing the appraisal. You know what I'm saying? That's just so weird. She had pictures, and she went in I think it was like 2 months before the fire, took pictures of the house. And then this happens. It's just really odd. Is it a coincidence, or is there more to it? And then she goes on to say how that she sent Derek to go take pictures because he had lost pictures for a property or whatever. Now, at first, I'm like, oh, is that Flora? No, because that wouldn't even make sense. But no, she said it was in, she says the town. But it just makes me wonder, like, okay, so we know Libby something was going on with her phone with pictures. Now she's saying that he lost the pictures for that. So it just made me wonder, like, what's going on here? Are they erasing their phones? Or it could just be something innocent. It really could, but there's just weird stuff with this, with the Flora stuff and her. I don't know. What do you guys think? Now, obviously, Flora would have already happened. So that whole thought, that first thought that was coming out as far as when she sent him away. But I'm just saying about them, like, losing the pictures for this other property, that he had to go back and retake pictures. Look at that. Oh my God. Do you guys see that that black line down the side of my face? That's weird. Or is that my hair? No.
Is it hair? I guess it is hair. Never mind. It's like, okay, never mind. I'm losing it today, guys. It should be a fun rumble tonight. I'm in one of those moods where I don't know. I'm a little ditzy.
Was filing. She came in and we had just gotten a new puppy and she was sitting on the floor playing with the puppy and stuff and Kelsey came in, it was probably close to 1 maybe, and said, "Hey, I'm going to my boyfriend's house before I go to work." And Libby jumped up and said, "Hey, if you're going to go to town, could you take us to the trails?" She asked me if it was okay if they went, and I said, "Well, I don't have time to come and pick you up when you're done, so you're going to have to get a ride home." They ran in the house, and she came out, and I said, "Do you have a ride home?" And she said yes. So they left. It was probably around 1:30, and Kelsey took them in, and she called Derek. He had left probably 20 minutes or so before the girls did to go take some pictures that I had lost, to retake some pictures for me. And he was going to Frankfurt, which is probably a 40-minute drive from here. He was going to spend half an hour taking pictures and come back. So we knew that when they went, it would be an hour and a half, and he would pick them up on his way back through. It was a little after midnight. They called me back, and there was a whole group of them sitting there. They said, "We've decided that for safety, it's a group decision. We've got to cancel the search for the night." And at that time I begged them not to, and I said, they don't have coats. They're not.
So let me get this right. It's a safety issue when you have groups of people that could go and you have 2 young girls out there by themselves. What about their safety? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are adults. Get adults to go. Get them to go in groups. You'll be able to dress warm, have, your guns, if weapons, protection. A safety issue. What? You got 2 little girls. What about their freaking safety? But you'll hear that they do end up searching anyway, which, well, some of them do. Mike says he goes back out, supposedly till like almost 3 a.m. But he says they search both sides of the freaking river or whatever you call that. Is that considered a river? What river is that? Now I'm trying to think what is that called? But anyway, the water, the stream. I don't know if would you call that a river or a stream? But they searched both sides of it. He says. How didn't they see the girls if they were there already? You know what I'm saying? If this all happened within an hour and everything was done by an hour, they're searching. He's even searching all night. There's groups of people. We see the other people. We saw their text. They're out there at like 2 a.m. searching. How the heck would they not see them? They're searching both sides of the water. They're right by the water. I mean, I guess you could miss it. You could. But it does make you wonder if they were there the whole time. I don't know. I mean, maybe they were, but it makes you doubt it, right? What interview? Oh, creek. Yeah, Deer Creek. Okay, it's a creek. Is that so? You could consider that a creek? Okay. What color is a blue jacket after it? You're in the mud. I don't understand why you're asking that. Oh, because the one person saw a tan jacket? Is that what you guys are talking about? What are you guys? We have a Deer Creek in Ohio. Everyone goes swimming to Deer Creek in Frankfurt. We have in common with Indiana. Oh, I've never been to the one in Ohio. I remember going to Deer Creek to see concerts, the venue. Now it changed. It's probably changed a bunch of times, but I think it even changed as I was seeing concerts to, the last time I was there, I forget what it was called, but we always just called it Deer Creek because that's just, the original name. But, Fish used to play like 3 nights there. I'm trying to think if Fish was the only people I saw at Deer Creek, but that concert venue is awesome. Anybody been there? Anyway, so yeah, it just makes me wonder because he goes on explaining how he goes back out and searches, which we found out that there was groups of people searching pretty much into the morning. And it wasn't that far up. What they say, like half a mile up, a little over half a mile up from the bridge, which you would think that that would be their start. Well, I don't know where they would have started. Yeah, you think they would have focused, but maybe not because they probably didn't get the video yet. As far as like the public searching, probably didn't know about the video of the guy on the bridge, but they would have seen that Snapchat picture, right, of Abby by like people would have already saw that, I would guess. So, I mean, you would think they would kind of have focused on the bridge and then like searched kind of like that, right? I don't know. It's weird.
Not dressed for it's the temperature's dropping, and I asked them then. I said, "Will they make it through the night?" Because we're thinking that maybe they're hurt, broke a leg, or And what they said to me at that time was, "Well, they have youth on their side." But I found out after Mike picked me up, after they did that they really didn't stop searching because.
I don't know, Kat. Was hers deleted? Let me see. I don't see any. Hold on, no, I don't see any video or message deleted. Sometimes there's like a glitch. I've had that before. People were like, "Oh, why is my message deleted?" And people were like, "No, it's been happening." So no, I don't see anybody removed any messages recently. So it must just be some kind of glitch. So don't worry. If that happens, it's most likely just that or like a mistake. If somebody I've had people accidentally like like mods just accidentally hit the screen and do it. So just don't try not to like jump to like, oh my God, did they do it? Because most of the time it's probably just a mistake or stupid glitch from YouTube. Yeah, I don't see any. So you're good. Okay. And sometimes I think YouTube does it. I think their system or whatever, spam. I don't know if it's spam or however you want to call it, but they'll somehow like there'll be a word or something that's not okay. And it doesn't make sense sometimes. Trust me. I've had things like with YouTube, you'll get a lot of if you have a channel, you'll be able to see a section where it's stuff has been thrown into like spam, I guess you want to call it or whatever, where YouTube has stopped the message from going through, and then I have to go through and like okay it. And most of the time I don't even really go through those. So if yours does get rid of and you're like, why didn't she okay it? There's so many, I don't even usually go through those because I don't have time to go through all the ones that got spammed. So hopefully that's okay. But like sometimes once in a while, I'll like have some time and I'll just go through it and I'll see it. I'll be like, why? Like, why was this removed? There's like no words in it that you could see why it would be removed. So it doesn't always make sense. It's weird. But I don't have any words. When you have a channel, you could pick words that aren't allowed. And then when somebody says words, those words, you could actually put in your own words that you don't allow. And then they'll be removed. I don't have any. I've never put in any words. So it's just whatever YouTube does. Jonathan, another one. Thank you. Did you ever see the Sam Pitt case I sent you? No, I didn't even ever see you sent me a Sam Pitt case. I don't think I got that message. Let me see what it says. It took 30 years to solve, but it was just a jealous roommate that did the murder and blamed it was just a satanic sacrifice the whole time. Oh, you're saying they blamed it as one. Okay. No, I don't. When did you send it to? Recently? I don't think I got it, unless if it was like a while ago. Hey, MJ, what's up? Okay, Wolfpack, yeah. So you guys, if that happens, don't let your mind go that, oh, mods are removing it. Because most likely it is just going to be a glitch and it's going to be YouTube. Yeah, it was probably just a glitch. It was probably just YouTube, so don't worry. No biggie, guys. Oh, see, I'm saying it froze. And digital's having problems commenting, so must be something going on with YouTube. YouTube has bad moments too. Have you ever been on YouTube and your video just stops playing and you can't even click on anything? That happens like actually regularly. Like I would say at least once a week it would happen to me. And it'll just be like nothing. You can't click on anything. Well, no, I lied. You could click on something. You could click play. Like you could go back and pick another video and click play, but no freaking videos will play. No, you can't get any videos to play. And what I usually have to do is sometimes if I go out and exit out and come back later, it'll work. But if you want to do it in that moment, wait, there's a trick. Hold on. Wait, what do I do? Hold on. I feel like I have to... No, lately I think if I just exit and go back, but I feel like last year or a couple years ago, it wasn't working that way. And I think... if I'm remembering right, I had to actually delete the app and re-download the app. I remember on my iPad, I was getting so frustrated because I was in the middle of watching something. But this was like a couple years ago when it was happening. I was in the middle of watching something, and every time, like I'm into something, and it makes me so mad. Where if you delete the app and then re-upload the app, it'll work. But lately, I haven't had to do that, so I don't know. Did you guys ever have that? Sweet Toddler, you're funny. No. All right, let me press play.
As a lot of them reconvened with the fire department and they continued more search.
Yeah, I think I ran you back home because I said if she calls or something home or shows up there, we want somebody here. And I went back in to the fire station, and the majority of the official searchers were still there. And they asked me, hey, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to find them. And they said, okay, let's go back out and let's light up that creek. So we kind of started at the bridge and worked our way back towards town. And I don't know how many there were, if it was 20 or 50, but both sides of the creek, we had people walking, flashlights, everything was going. And of course that probably went an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours time we got back to the fire station again. And I said, all right, it's like morning it is. I continued to drive around town till about 3:30, just hoping to see something, and came home, and then we convened back there in the morning, right around noon or whatever time I can't remember. But I heard over the radio that they possibly found them. And I think I must have heard the location because I drove straight out to the trailhead, and Becky was already there.
Yeah, the whole family ended up getting separated in all the search units that they had, the search groups, because they had like a fireman or somebody with each of the groups that had a radio and everything. And Tara was with me, Kelsey was with another group, Derek was with another group, Mike was where he said he was, and we were clear out not very far from our house in this big old field. And I thought, boy, this is pretty dumb. She ain't gonna go through this field. But they did a grid search. So we needed to walk this whole field. So we were just finishing our grid search, and a friend of ours, her husband was in another group, and he had called her, and she come running back and said they found him. But she wouldn't tell me anything more than that. So we went running back to our vehicle and went to the trailhead. And at that time, I went up to a fireman, and I said, hey, you need to take me to Libya. If they're hurt or something, they're
Darksea, I've missed you. What's up? How are you, girl? I'm glad. It's good to see you. How are you? All right, let me press play.
going to need us, she's going to be cold. And he kept saying, Becky, they haven't found him. I said, yes, I got a call. They found him. So when I found out, a lot of the firemen and stuff didn't know yet, because it took time, because this guy called his wife, this friend of ours, he called his wife, but they still hadn't gotten a hold of a fireman to let anybody know yet at that time. So that's how how to jump on knowing. And he just kept saying, no, they haven't found him. They have.
Which is weird because I get it. There's a delay in finding him, but it's just weird because remember when that happened with where the one guy, wait, how did that work? We're on the scanner. Oh, how the guy comes up, he's like, oh yeah, they found him, and then on the scanner, like, no, they radio him in, and he's like, no, they didn't find him, but it was just a delay. And I remember that caused people like looking at this guy. I forget what the guy's name is now, because they're like, oh my god, maybe he had something to do with it. Because how did he know where they were? Because he described it where they were, right, or something, and they hadn't found them. At least not everybody knew that they found them. So that's just what's going on here, where the fireman's like, no, they didn't find him, and he's like, well, they just said that they found him. It's just weird. Anyway,
Haven't found him. And I remember turning around, and my sister was sitting there, and she was just crying. And I was all excited they found him. I just needed somebody to take me to him. And all she kept saying was, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I didn't understand what she was saying. And why are you sorry? They found him. And she was in one of the groups that found them.
A couple of the questions from the video have been answered. One of them was who found the girls. Some people had thought that it had been a specific person, but it was a group of people, correct?
There were actually a couple of groups. There were groups on both sides of the creek, and they were kind of like just across from each other. So it was kind of about the same time.
But again, it was somebody's memory of a person they saw, and there could be two different people that was walking around out there that day. We don't know, but based on the sketches, there's some similarities. One looks a little older, one looks a little younger, but it was from two people who saw a person out there that day, a guy dressed similar, at least according to their memory, and then according to their memory, this was the best sketch or rendition of how they looked. If that makes sense. I mean, it's going to be between them two somewhere. Either one of them is going to be spot on, or it's going to kind of be between the two, is my guess.
There's the crap about the two sketches being the same people. They even freaking gaslit them, or unless they're a part of the whole thing. Like, no, they're not the same freaking person. It's ridiculous. But I almost feel like it's just the freaking Doug just manipulated them to be thinking that, oh, it's the same guy. Oh, he's going to look in between both of them. Oh, she says, oh, if you put them together and you put them on top of each other, they actually are really similar. One just looks older, one looks younger. No, they don't. They have complete opposite features. They do not have the same features. Not even if one was younger and one was older. I'm sorry. They have different noses, different eyes, different facial structure, different everything. That makes me so mad when people say that. It's not the same freaking person, and they don't look anything the same. I don't care. They're not different, only different ages. They're completely different looking features. But she just said, oh yeah, they really look pretty similar. They're just, one looks older, one looks younger. No. Nope.
Yeah, I think what. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vic.
Here's how I looked at that. You're really not looking at the picture per se. You're looking at the
show, Casey, because I know when you're chatting, sometimes you forget. But just to see when they start talking about this sketch, hold on, I'll show you. Just listen. And that just goes to show you how much people could be manipulated. Because I was I wasn't, because I was just confused. I thought I was an idiot for not seeing it because I never could see it. So I never just went around. So I guess I didn't get manipulated. I just thought I was just like, am I like crazy? Am I going crazy? Because am I the only one that does not think that that's the same at all and that they don't look the same? But a lot of people do. And so they were probably being told by Doug, oh no, it's the same person. So they're manipulated, and all of a sudden now they're believing that that those two sketches actually look similar. They actually, they're actually starting to really believe that. Oh,
across from each other. So it was kind of about the same time.
Hold on. Before we play that part about the sketches, let me just bring you up the 2 sketches real quick to remind you what we're talking about. I know most people already know. Oh, everybody already knows it, but let's just refresh our memory. Okay, so there's the first one. I wish I had a better okay, wait, this is under pictures, Delphi. Hold on, let me just do it real quick. Hold on, give me 1 second. We'll just chat for a minute. I'll put a side by side of both of those sketches. I can't believe I don't have one already. I should actually layer them on top of each other too sometime and just. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Just chat it up. Chat it up, Vern. Okay, so I have them both under this one. Okay, so let me just get them both up here. I'm just gonna edit one together so they're just beside each other. So then I have that to show if anybody's to just pop up there when people start saying they're the same person. And I think it's probably that they're not saying it because they're trying to like manipulate anybody. I think, at least I'm not law enforcement. Yeah, I'm talking about Becky and Mike. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's probably just as innocent as them being manipulated and convinced that it's the same person, that they're starting to like believe it because law enforcement's telling them that. So they're thinking, oh, well, oh yeah. It's crazy how manipulation and how that could work, how somebody can influence you. There's something that's so obvious to all of a sudden start believing something. It's weird, but it happens. So, I mean, you see how it happens all the time, but it's just so weird that like somebody's could be manipulated like that. Hey, I've been there too. I'm sure I've been manipulated a lot. I don't know. Maybe. I think to a degree, I think some people are more easily manipulated than others. I don't know where I fall. I really don't, but I'm sure I've been fooled, I'm sure. More than I realize. What do you guys think? Do you guys think, and here's another question. Do you guys think, you know how they say that certain people can't be hypnotized and certain people can? And like when people have those, where they have like those shows where they'll bring up people and hypnotize people, that they'll ask like questions to the audience because they're able to kind of like get a feel for who has that type that can be manipulated and who doesn't, and they're able to kind of like figure that out for the most part. I'm sure they make some mistakes sometimes, but there's some people that just can't be hypnotized. I don't even know if that coincides with being manipulated. A lot of people that could be easily manipulated might have, one thing might not have anything to do with the other, or maybe it is kind of similar type personalities or people that could easily be manipulated. Is that like have a high degree of, what's the word? I can't even think of the word, but is that, so people that could be manipulated easier, do you think that those are the ones that could be hypnotized easier too? I wonder about that sometimes. But anyway, number one, do you think you could be manipulated easier than most? Do you think you're one of those people that people will victimize and go towards, like people that like to manipulate people, they're going to pick you out and be attracted to you? Or also, do you think the hypnotized? Has anybody ever been hypnotized? Has anybody ever figured out that they can't be hypnotized, or that they can be hypnotized? Just curious. I've never been there. I always wondered. My sister has been to a show where they hypnotized her. But why do I feel like that? I wish she was alive and I can ask her. So I am having this memory, and I don't know if it's just a dream or if it's true. I know she did go to one of those shows. I think it was with my family. I have to ask, I was going to say I have to ask my dad, but he's dead too. Dang it. Because I don't know if my mom was there. Okay, so I have this memory where she told me that she just went along with it and pretended that she wasn't really hypnotized, but she went along with it. But I don't know if that memory is true or if it's not. And I know she was at a show where she got hypnotized and it appeared that she was being hypnotized. I didn't go to that show, but they told me the story after. I think it was on a cruise ship. I'll have to see if my mom remembers, because she would have been there, because she would have been on the cruise. So yeah, she would have been there too. So she went along with it, but I swear she told me that she did it purposely and she really wasn't hypnotized. But I don't know if she told my mom that. Like, if she did lie about it, I don't know if my mom would have known. But anyway, does anybody know though? As far as if you think it's like similar type people that are hypnotized compared to people that are more easily manipulated. And the one it might not have anything to do with each other, to be honest. So I always thought, every time I think of hypnotism, and because like also like psychology, if you look into like a lot of the old like theory, psychologist, history of psychology, there's a lot of hypnotism in it and stuff like that. So I've always wondered, you know, for a long time, if I could be hypnotized. And I'm scared though. It's like, there was this one time they were doing a show in Vegas. I think it was Vegas. I was with my dad and there was a show, like a hypnotism, and we were going to do it. And I think there was another option, and he's like, okay, so do you want to do this or do you want to go to this other show? And I think I picked the other show because I was scared. I'm like a little bit nervous about it. Like, I don't know. I'm nervous to like what it would feel like, and like it scares me in a way. Hold on, I can't see chat right now because I'm doing a side by side of these two. But hold on one second. I'm curious to what you guys think about it. If anybody else has thought of it, or if it's just me. Okay, so I got a side by side. Let me see. Where's Chatty Chat at? Oh, thanks, John. Another super chat. You're being too generous. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry that the case was Pam Pitts, not Sam. It's very similar to this case. I'm a person that just doesn't get hypnotized, but it tends to piss people off because they want me to believe things that I just can't. Okay, so has somebody tried to hypnotize you and you just can't? I don't know why. I don't think I'm going to be able to be hypnotized. I really don't. I just don't, because like, I know like this, what I'm going to tell you right now probably has nothing to do with being hypnotized. But it kind of does, because I think it shows you the power of the mind and the control. So remember I told you, I've talked about this before, where I've had to do, it's called the tilt test. Probably some of you guys may have had it, but I was having these heart issues. It was way back after my boyfriend had died. This was back in 2003. I was having like panic attacks, but I didn't know what it was at the time. I thought I was having some heart issues. I thought something was wrong with my heart. So they ran all these heart tests. And one of them was this, because I would get like dizzy, feel like I'm going to pass out. I never did pass out, but I would feel like lightheaded and I would get like dizzy. I later on figured it out myself. Those are panic attacks because of the trauma I went through with him dying. Because I mean, he basically died in my arms, you know. I mean, I got this thing on my lip. Hold on. I keep biting my lip. So these tilt tests, right? They say everybody passes out for it, but it's a matter of when you pass out to test like the levels, right? So they basically do it until you pass out, basically, and then they could tell like when you pass out. Now, hold on 1 second. Don't worry, we'll get to this interview. I just want to tell you real quick. So, they inject your heart. They just inject you like with speed, basically. So they speed up your heart and they put you on a slant, and they freaking strap you to a bed, and you're at a certain angle, and they inject you with speed, and then so they strap you because you're gonna pass out, and then they test. Like it's supposedly like you're not supposed to. They're testing like, because some people, when they stand up, or I think they change elevation or something, there's something about their blood pressure either stays low or goes high or low or something, and then it makes you like dizzy. So they're testing to see if I have that problem, which I didn't, but they wanted to rule that out to make sure. I don't even know what it's called. Well, they couldn't get me to pass out. I wouldn't pass out. And I'm like, does everybody pass out? They're like, yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's the whole goal, is to get you to pass out and then test where it's at. And even if I didn't have it, you still would get to a level that you're probably going to pass out because of the way that they do the tilt with the speed. But I didn't pass out. And then it got to a problem. It's like, you got to quit. Like, I'm not passing out. It's like, this is too much. Like, I'm not going to pass out. So they're like, okay. They're like, yeah, most people just pass. I mean, they pass out eventually. But yeah, so I didn't pass out. So it just goes along with, like, I think there's something about me that I don't think I'd be able to be hypnotized either. I really don't. I really don't. And I know that has nothing to do with the passing out thing. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. I keep like saying that, but then saying, well, maybe it does because maybe it's like you have the power of the mind and you're just not going to let yourself pass out. But that would be like a physical thing that you wouldn't think you'd be able to control. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, what is it that causes people to be hypnotized and not? And what is hypnotism? I mean, I know what it is, but isn't that so weird that somebody could be hypnotized and not even freaking know what they're doing? And then they could be told to do all kinds of stuff. So they're still like conscious. Well, a part of them still conscious because they're able to take, they're able to hear what the person's saying and take like, commands. You know what I'm saying? When the people have it for shows and they make people do things like, is that real? So I'm always like doubting, like, is that real? Because it seems so weird because, and since I've never gone through it myself, it's like, are people faking? And then I swear my sister told me she faked. So I'm like thinking, what if everybody just fakes it? Does that really happen? But I'm like, no, not everybody would fake it. And then people would tell other people and it would come out that they're faking it. But then I'm like thinking, well, if my sister told me it was faking, maybe they do end up coming out and saying, no, I just went along with it for the show. I don't know. I mean, I think it's definitely a thing some people do, but it's just so weird. Is it weird to you guys? Hypnotism, isn't that weird? Has anybody been hypnotized for real? I gotta know. And what was it like? Hold on, I'm doing a poll. So I want to know if anybody has legit been hypnotized where they like how it is perceived by us, that like that is what's going on basically, that you're not aware, or actually I don't know what is going on in their heads. Tell me, actually, maybe how it's perceived to us is probably totally different than how it is for you guys. So anybody that's been hypnotized that wasn't just playing along for the show, tell me what it's like. I gotta know. Okay, somebody's saying weird. I'm just going to do a poll if anybody's been hypnotized. And then we'll talk about it on Rumble. Come up. That could be one of our topics on Rumble. People, when I do open panel, if you want to come up and tell your experience about being hypnotized. But we can talk about anything. But remind me, I'll ask that on Rumble to see if anybody has any experiences. Or if you have any experience with anybody else that's been hypnotized and have told you. I'm going to just hold on 1 second. You've been it's going to do yes or no, hypnotized. So you have to, like I said, not just try to be, but you actually were hypnotized. I want to know that. Okay. And then also, do you think there is a correlation between being hypnotized and being manipulated? How many people do a thumbs up if you think yes, and do a thumbs down if either you think. Okay, do a thumbs up. Wait, I can't do thumbs ups because I forgot people actually go and do they do it under my video. Hold on, scratch that. If you think that there's a correlation of people that could be hypnotized to people that could be easily manipulated, put a number 1. If you think there's no correlation, put 2. And if you think that's it, yeah, I guess there's not a third answer. I'm just curious what you guys think. Man, wonder if we could find a hypnotist I could have as a guest. I'm so scared though, guys. Okay, because I'm pretty sure you could probably do it virtual, right? Or I could just actually meet the person in person. But if I could do virtual, if it could happen virtually, I could have you guys take part in it and find one and see if that can, and be like, okay, we're gonna have an open panel of people that want to do it. And if not, maybe we could have like a group of people meet, we do a live stream and have in person us all try to get hypnotized. I don't know though. I might just be the one to I'll just like interview you guys. I don't know if I for sure um yeah, yeah, maybe. But wait though. I can be relaxed and focused. I mean, if you know what I'm saying? If I work on it, I can. And this like hyperness, like I used to always be more calm, relaxed, patient. I used to be my demeanor was so much different before, but I could be that way. I'm not just stuck like I have to be like I could relax if I had to. So take that part away, because I know you're looking at me like you're too, but let's say I can be relaxed and focused. Do you still think I could be hypnotized? Because is that the only reason you're saying that I can't be? All right, so let's continue this thing, and we'll talk about that more on Rumble, guys. Well, maybe we'll do a little research on it on Rumble. We'll look into like statistics of hypnotism, manipulation, and because you know, like for cults too, people will target people that are more easily manipulated, right? Or people like looking for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I think that all goes hand in hand in a way. But people, the master manipulators, like they know what to look for in their victims. And also, I think people that hypnotize, they know what they're looking for in shows and stuff because they want the show to go good. So they kind of know. So is it the same thing that they're kind of looking for in a way? Because I know that's why they'll ask questions to the audience and they're able to kind of like feel it out on who they think is more likely to be hypnotized. You've never thought about that, Soul? I'm surprised you haven't, because you think a lot similar to me. But yeah, I've thought about that a bunch. All right. Wait, okay, so let's see. So hold on. We have 26% saying yes, they've been hypnotized. Dude, you better freaking tell us some stories or come to Rumble. And if you're not going to be able to make it to Rumble tonight, will you, no, it wasn't a stress test, Alan. This was called a tilt test. It's a tilt. Look it up. Not a stress, if that's what you're talking about. I know the stress test, so like for my grandma, like older people, if they're not able to physically get their heart rate up to test, they will inject them with speed because they need to they need to get their heart rate up. And some people aren't able to do that physically. So they do. I see why you were thinking that, but no, it wasn't a stress test. It was called like a tilt test. They were testing something about blood pressure and how when I stand up or like move at different angles that my blood pressure doesn't higher or lower, right? Or whatever, if that makes sense. So it'll stay too low, which will make me dizzy, or I think it's low. I think it's all about it being too low. I'm thinking if I'm remembering right, where it doesn't get like, let's say I stand up or something and I change positions and it just like stays too low or something like that. But anyway, all right. How many cups of coffee? Hold on, I'm trying. I hope I haven't had two. All good, John. I hope I'll make you fall asleep good. All right, let's continue this. And then those people that are saying yes for hypnotize, can you please at least write something in the chat about what you were feeling like? Unless you plan on coming on Rumble, I want to know.
But again, it was somebody's memory of a person they saw. And there could be two different people that was walking around out there that day. We don't know, but based on the sketches, there's some similarities. One looks a little older, one looks a little younger, but it was from two people who saw a person out there that day, a guy dressed similar, at least according to their memory, and then according to their memory, this was the best sketch or rendition of how they looked. If that makes sense. I mean, it's going to be between them two somewhere. Either one of them is going to be spot on, or it's going to kind of be between the two, is my guess.
I think what. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vic.
Here's how I looked at that. You're really not looking at the picture per se. You're looking at the features, and both of those sketches were done early on. They've had that second sketch. They've had it since a few days after, so that it's been there. But at the time, they were led to believe that it was more this older one, and then with more information that they received and stuff, that was, I think, what was their turn, their other direction. They realized maybe it was more this one.
Okay, I did this side by side. Hold on, I forgot. That was the whole point of why I stopped. Hold on, let me just show you the side by side of those real quick. Okay, so Jonathan, you're not as familiar with this case, so you might not know the two sketches. Now tell me, please, do you think that these two guys look the same, that one just looks like an older version of the other? Do you think they really have the same features? The eye shape, the eye placement, the head shape, it's different. The nose is different. The chin is different. The hair is different. The head shape, I mean, for 100% is like totally different. This one has more of like a square, you know what I'm saying? It goes straight. This one is like more, whatever you call that, oval, or like the chin goes down further. The nose, because that top, he has a very unique nose. Well, they both have unique nose. This one has the bigger, like, whatever, I don't know how to describe it, but this one, the nostrils are more like high up, not high up. Well, you guys see, right? The eye shape is a lot different. Look, he has more like slanted, like not like thin eyes. I don't know how to describe stuff very good, but you guys see, right? It's very different. Even like the way that they're like placed. And I know these are just sketches, they're not pictures, but the whole point is they were trying to like make it seem like we're all crazy for not seeing the similarities when these two are not, they don't have the same characteristics. So if you're saying that, oh, it's just somewhere in between that, you are leaving, it's basically any guy, like we were making a joke about it on the last live. So just any guy between his, what did they say, third, or what was the age range? 20s to 40s. Between 20 and 40, a male between, let's say, 5'8" to 6 foot, not blue eyes. I don't even remember the weight, because I mean, I don't even, all those little specifics, I mean, they didn't mean anything, because it's like you don't trust anything as far as like the weight, the height. So yeah, what do you think, Jonathan? Where are you at? I'm not sure I would have listened to the people that identified them. But my point is, do you think that these two are the same guy? If somebody said that and made it seem like we're crazy for not understanding that this is just a combination of both these guys, that he's going to be like a combination of both, he's going to look like both, what does that tell you? That they have no idea what this guy looks like, because he could look like anything. I mean, come on. There you go, cat. They both have two eyes, one nose, and one mouth. Yep, basically. That's what it comes down to. So, and even facial hair. So you're saying that these people, one person remembered him as with a little goatee and one person remembered this with none? I mean, even that's not even consistent. So bottom line is I think these witnesses saw two different freaking guys. And Doug just should have said that. He shouldn't have freaking misled everybody and everybody's trying to merge these two guys together. He should have just said. And I know some of them were saying, no, it's two different guys, but if you go back and listen to his press conferences like we did last live, you'll see that he is definitely trying to insinuate that it's the same person. So it confused the public for years. That's the whole thing. All right, let's continue the interview. Sorry, guys. I don't know why that just gets to me. It makes me so mad.
But you had different witnesses. And here's how I look at that, because somebody did an overlay of the two. And truly, if you look at just the features, they're not that different. They truly aren't. If you just look at the features with an overlay. And then I started thinking about it. Okay, what if one of the witnesses was young? You had a younger teen. Well, to them, everybody looks old. So
Right.
that sketch is going to look older in their eyes. But if you ask me on a sketch, to me, everybody looks young. They just look like little kids. So if I were given that description, I'm sure it would have had a younger feature to it.
No, she's making sense, but it still doesn't make those sketches correct. What she's saying about the sketches correct as far as them looking alike. She does make a good point as far as like depends on who's describing it, how they're going to describe it. Oh, younger, older, depending on your age. Yes, but it still does not convince me that them two look the same. It's just an age difference. No, they're completely different looking guys. That's all.
So if you have two different age groups given those descriptions, you're going to have two different things. But if you overlay it, it's very similar. He's probably going to be in between those two.
Right, absolutely. And I think Mike makes a really great point that hindsight's always 2020, right? So when a case becomes this big, you kind of expect that people to have known things, but on the day it happened, you're just going about your normal everyday life. There's no reason to remember anything that's happening.
Right.
Just like I can't remember what I did yesterday for the most part. So you can't always expect, and that's a good point as well, Becky, that different perspectives, someone younger, when you're younger, someone that's like 30 looks like 60. You can't even tell the difference, right? Now I'm getting to the point I see a guy that's like 70 and I'm like, he doesn't even look that old. How old am I getting?
yeah, 60's young now.
Yeah. 60's the new 40. So Lulu Q asks, how is Derek coping? Respecting his privacy and understandable grief. Is he doing okay? Anything you want to go over just as far as Derek, how he's handled things, why that is, anything we talked about earlier, if you'd like to talk about that.
I know that's been a big thing out there, that Derek hasn't stepped up and spoke out and everything. But first off, that's not his personality. He's a very quiet, private person. And then you have to stop and think. Was he a snitch? Did he narc? Was he a confidential informant? No. He was none of those. So does he feel like that he got her killed? No. But he was out there. He was the one out there searching for her. And he knows that. And for everything that we know from the timeline and stuff, he was probably there when they were killed. And he knows that. He has to live with the fact that he may have been there. He may have passed the guy and couldn't save his daughter. So no, does he want to go out and talk about that? And he's not one to want to break down in front of people. And there's some of them that would just like for him to go out there, just like they've done us, just so they can slam him.
No, I agree, Alan. I think a suspect, exactly. But I feel like it wasn't enough to make the arrest in my eyes. And I know I'm just a person, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's going to be too much reasonable doubt. Unless, like you said, maybe they do have something, Alan. So let's see. Maybe they have some kind of connection, but I'm just afraid they're not. Anyway, oh, thanks, Jonathan. I'm glad you're joining the more skeptical side of things. Zavi is back. Wait, what did I just say though? Let me think that. Let me think that. I really feel that the murder is manipulative. The narrative here, just like in the PM case, for me, you just can't. I've been here the whole time, Jonathan. What do you mean? I feel like this is the stance I've taken on this case for like months now, since the Frank's memorandum came out, though. But thank you. Are you gonna come to Rumble, or are you gonna be in bed? But either way, like you said, you can listen, because I know some people like to just listen and relax. They say my voice, I don't know, my voice is annoying to me, but I do have some of those people that I feel like the same thing, like their voice, I could listen and it relaxes me. No matter what they're saying, it just relaxes me. So I get it. I get it. I'm glad that I could be that person for you. Okay, but thank you. You did it a lot. Really? Wow. All right.
Really? Is that necessary? I don't think so.
But is he doing okay? Yeah, he stays busy. You know, he's doing carpentry work and a lot of jobs. In fact, that's where he's at tonight. And we have given him every opportunity, you know, and he knows the door's open. And he's a grown man. You know, if he wants to talk, you know, it'll happen. So people think we're suppressing him, keeping him, you know, locked in his room or something. You know, he's bigger than me. If he wants out of his room, he's going to get it. You know, but
he does a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He does a lot that people don't see, and it's not important for them to see.
And he's working a lot on the park right now. Him and his dad, the other grandfather, they're down there. We're making good progress on the memorial park, and you know, I think that's good for him. You know, I know it's good for me when I'm down there working. I get tired and frustrated, and I just look up at the memorial sign and I remember why I'm down there, and gives me a second breath. May not last as long on the second breath as I did the first one, but
Man, shoot, I missed it. I missed what I would, because each part of this, there was something I wanted to stop and talk about. Sometimes I get sidetracked with the chat and I forget, or I miss it. What were they talking about? They're talking about Derek here, right? Shoot, let me see.
it certainly does.
Do you know if any fingerprints were found on the phone?
Would you guys be mad if I rewound it just a minute or two to see? Hold on.
But
He does a lot behind the scenes.
yeah.
He does a lot that people don't see, and it's not important for them to see.
And he's working a lot on the park right now. Him and his dad, the other grandfather, they're down there. We're making good progress on the memorial park, and you know,
Wait, Jonathan, which part? Or which part? Which sketch? You said, who said the sketch looks like the dude talking right now? Are you talking about the dude talking with the lady down there? So Mike Patty, the one on the bottom, or who? Oh, opinionated. It's zavgirl. Actually, my Rumble is in the description. Look in the video description. You'll see the link to it. Do you see it? Let me know. If not, I'll go and get a link. I need to put it for my Nightbot so it could just put it up.
I think it's good for him. You know, I know it's good for me when I'm down there working. I get tired and frustrated, and I just look up at the memorial sign and I remember why I'm down there, and gives me a second breath. May not last as long on the second breath as I did the first one, but it certainly does.
Do you know if any fingerprints were found on the phone?
Well, I think. Oh, I don't know, but
So I just asked about if there was fingerprints on the phone.
I don't know about on the phone, but Tobe in an interview did say because I was quite shocked when I heard it in an interview that there was a partial fingerprint or something. So he said, law enforcement has said that there is something. Now, have they ever told us from where they got it? I don't know.
Not
Well, question we got and I'm asking this lady.
Wait, Jonathan, you said, "Oh my God, the sketch looks like the dude talking right now." Yeah, if he had a hat on, Mike Patty, who is he? It looks like him. That's one of the victims, Libby's grandfather. But which sketch? Oh, so you have to be talking about the younger sketch because he doesn't really look anything like the other one. But who knows? People see things different. So which sketch are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the sketch of the guy with the hat on. You think he looks like? I don't see it. Huh. What do you guys think? I mean, others might. I don't see the resemblance really. Of course, if you look at both of them, you could always see a resemblance of like different features of like a lot of different people probably for like, oh, this, he has the same nose as that or eyes as that. But altogether, you think like the whole face, you think he does? See, I think his eyes look more like the younger sketch. His nose looks more like the older sketch. But I don't see it. But oh, you want me to pull it up? Okay, hold on. I feel too bad doing a side with him. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing that just because I don't know. But I could just do that. All right. What is everybody else saying? Is other people saw? Oh, you sent me a pic where he looks a lot like the sketch. Hold on. Where did you email me or where did you send it? Anthony. I'm going to continue the interview and let me know where you sent it.
Into it. And again, it's going to tie into all the different avenues you've looked at. But Daniel Hurd, he asked if you know if anyone in the
Well, you saw that one sketch where the person has a hoodie. The one sketch that looks like the younger sketch with the thing over his mouth and the hoodie doesn't have a good. Well, we don't know if he has a goatee because he has something over his mouth. But you saw how it looked like the same person, right?
Community has been looked into.
Actually, well, they did, and that's why shortly after they started putting signs up and actually going around. I mean, they're all part of our communities, you know what I mean? So it's not just the Amish community, but yeah, they did figure out, but basically put like electronic signs up, you know, in and along some of our county roads that are frequently traveled.
Oh, I know, Alan. I'm talking about here, let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the younger sketch too. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Those 4 sketches that came out. Hold on, let me show you. Like I said, we don't see his mouth, so we can't see if, you know, the goatee or whatever. Well, obviously it's just a sketch anyway, but all right, one second. Where did I put it? It's gotta be in here. I did a whole video. I actually did 2 videos on it. I did a short. I mean, as far as the sketches, hold on. Give me 1 minute. Do I have it on 11? 11. Yeah, right here. Here it is. Doesn't it? It looks like the same guy, the younger sketch. But you got something over his mouth because that witness saw him with his hood pulled over and someone over his mouth. So they think it's probably the same guy that 2 different witnesses saw. But one when he was walking past him, he had his hood up, something over his mouth, and then when he got to the bridge area, and where I think it would have been Betsy, right, that walked up and saw him after that. He had the other one, the sketch we're familiar with, where he had it this one where he had his hood off. So he probably pulled it down and took the thing off over his mouth after he got close, like around the bridge, is what I'm guessing. And then when he was walking there, he had it up. Is what makes sense. For baby daddy. Kelsey, dude, what? Wait, what? What? That's crazy. Hey, Miranda. I didn't get to say hi to you yet. That's freaking crazy. Kylie. All right, let me continue this video so we could get done. All right, 1 second. Where? Oh, here we go.
By a lot of those folks
up?
with the Amish community to communicate that, out.
Don't they go door to door?
I think they
I do. I have. My video does. Are you talking about the sketches? I do a video where I label out the description of all 4. Is that what you're talking about, Jonathan? Or I don't know if you're talking to me, but I did a video on that. Maybe we could watch it after this with all the 4 sketches. But now I'm thinking you're not talking to me, Jonathan.
I think they even did a door-to-door canvas type thing.
If I could say something real quick, because I want to make sure we don't lose this. This is a point I make in most of the show, so people who follow it nightly will probably know that, but it's important to say it each time. Sabrina makes a really good point. I'm always shocked to find out on the show how the families don't actually know as much information about the case as you would think, how terrible it must be not knowing all the details. And I put that on screen to make sure everyone that is just joining the channel today knows, never, ever, ever assume that something is and Mike actually went over this a little bit earlier, but that a detail is too small to come forward with, or too inconsequential, or, I'm not going to bother telling Mike and Patty or the authorities because they must already know this. Because like Sabrina just said, constantly, I'll talk to families and I'll ask a question that appears to me to be public knowledge by my research, and they don't know. So everyone doesn't know everything. And like what it takes is putting together, it's like a puzzle, a million tiny little pieces. So it just never assume that something, if you know anything, come forward is the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, so here is the one you sent, Anthony. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see it, but no more than some of the other ones, I mean, there's some similarities, but also differences too. Like the nose is throwing me off because it's kind of the same, but kind of not. The eyes are different, I feel like. Like this guy, I feel like his eyes are more further apart. And just, I don't know, they look different to me. The hair. But yeah, I mean, I can see some similarity, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's him. Why are you saying you think it's him, Anthony? Or you just see similarities? Like, I don't think that was him. But the body build is a lot different too, right? What was his body build like around that time? Because Bridge Guy really isn't big. Like he's got a small body build. Like his build is like smaller. But then he's got like that big coat where there's stuff in it, I feel like. But his legs, then his butt and stuff all go real small and thin. That's why he is built really similar to Richard Allen. That I do see. But I still am not sure what the bridge guy's part is in it, because I don't think the guy walking on the bridge is the same. I don't know. I'm doubting that it's the audio, that it's actually the same guy talking. I almost think it could be two different people. Like the guy, we see somebody different than the guy talking. The guy saying guy's down the hill. So it just makes me wonder what part bridge guy even has in this whole thing, you know? The picture of him, I mean. But I don't know.
The information is in the description below for both the authorities, the tip lines,
or video. I said picture, but I mean video. I'm tempted to keep this on a certain color. You guys pick for my next live what color you want it to just stay on. I could get it to just stay on a color. Plus I could get it, they have different kind of like waves, blinking. They have different settings too. All right, sorry.
Becky, anything like that. So please, anything, come forward. Don't make any assumptions.
Yes, please. That's what we need. That's the best help, anybody can give us. We would love to see this thing turn the corner and get to the prosecution state or phase.
Be a great way to start 2021, let me tell you, after 2020.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
What a year, huh?
So I know Grado's kind of collecting questions in the chat, so we'll let him get a couple more. We're asking as many as we can, guys, but we're already over an hour. I don't want to keep them too long, because you got to imagine how emotionally taxing this probably is on them. So I don't want to stretch it too long. But Mike and Becky, I want to make sure that if there's anything you guys feel is important that I don't think to ask, Grado doesn't think to ask, isn't in the chat, maybe a detail that's newer than, you've said previously. Is there anything out there that you want to make sure you get across and put out there that hasn't been asked yet?
No, but just a reiteration of, spreading the word. And like Becky was saying, of course, in today's world, it's kind of hard to talk to somebody at the grocery store. We're all have masks on. We're 6 feet apart. But, that's what the power of everybody pulling together, social media, these events, whether it's, the actual news or whatever.
Hold on, guys. 1 second. I feel like I meant to cut that off already. Give me 1 second. I don't know. I think I meant to cut some of this out, but we'll finish watching. It's almost, their part's almost over, and then the Carrie's is really, her part is pretty, it's a lot shorter. So
turning that information in and sharing that information, somebody's going to know something and somebody's going to turn it in. And I guess one other thing to point out is, and Doug Carter had mentioned it, there was a car that was parked where the old, I think they call it Child Protective Services building was, since been torn down. But there was a car parked there that day.
I was saying, and I don't know if you're talking to me, Sean, but I was saying I don't think that the video, well, I think there's a chance that the guy we see on the video is different than the guy saying guys down the hill. For some reason, guys down the hill, to me, I think it's the same guy that's saying guys and down the hill. But I know there's a lot of people now are thinking that actually those two, somebody's different saying guys and somebody that's saying down the hill. But see, I think that the guys down the hill is one person saying it, and then the guy in the video might be somebody different. How many people think the guys and down the hill is from a different? How do I word that? I could do a poll. Let me try to think how to word that that'll make sense. Because now you got me curious on how many people think that it's two different people. Hold on 1 second. Oh, Melissa, thank you for joining. I think. Yeah. It's like, where did it go? Thank you. And wait, Jonathan, is that another super chat? Man, you're spoiling me. What does it say? Look, I hate to accuse a victim, but the sketch matching doesn't just mean that. Could be someone given a bad sketch. Plus, in the Pam Pitts case, it was the jealous roommate the whole time spreading lies for 30 years. Huh. Wow. You have to look into that case. So, okay, Miranda, with that being said, what is your conclusion on Guys Down the Hill? Are you thinking that it is two different people, or are you thinking it's one person? What report? You got to remember, though, can we trust what we're hearing from that? You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. It's like we're having trouble trusting what they've told us. That's the problem, Anthony, with everything. I don't trust it for. Okay, so I'm gonna do a poll real quick. Okay, so to end that other poll, we have 24% of 62 votes is saying that they have been hypnotized. Where are you guys? Please, I haven't seen anybody explain it. So that means you're planning on coming to the Rumble or what? Because I want to hear. Like what your experience being hypnotized. I haven't seen one comment of saying what it was like. Okay. Let's start a new poll though. Start a poll. So okay. So we'll do trying to think how to word it. Do you think okay, I'm trying to think how to word that with the Guys Down the Hill. Where I don't want people to be confused what I'm at, which way to answer means what. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, I'm going to put Guys Down. I said, do you think Guys Down the Hill is... I'll just put... You think... is... Oh, it's too many words. You guys will understand. I'm going to say either, do you think Guys Down the Hill is two different people or the same person? You'll understand that that doesn't mean different from the video. I'm just asking the two audios. Okay, yeah, the one of the options will help make that make more sense because it's either two different people or the same person saying both. And if I were to vote, I would vote the same person, I think. But let's see what people think. I love polls. They're very interesting. Okay. What's a highway hypnosis, Petty? Well, remember that story. Are you coming over to Rumble? Remember that. You could explain it. If not, then tell me now. Wait, who's BJ Digital? Oh wait, I hold on. No, Miranda. I put up the wrong one. Who's BJ? That's what I thought. I thought it was like, are you talking about BK? Okay. I was thinking you were talking about BK. So wait, why are you saying you think that was BK? Wasn't it supposedly proven not to be? But are you still doubting that? Hey, I was fooled. I did a video. I thought it was, to me, it sounded very similar too. But are you convinced that it was like legit confirmed? Because I didn't see everything to make sure, or to see if it was like 100% confirmed that wasn't BK. But it was confirmed, right? I mean, I heard it was, and I heard the guy. Oh no, I actually did see the video where the guy said it was him. But you know how people sometimes will take credit for something that's not theirs. You know what I'm saying? So that you could also see that somebody could just say, oh, I'm going to just say it was me. But I don't know. I think the circumstances, it did show that it was him, right? Not BK, but it was that other guy, right? But I see. It's hard. I'm not like no freaking voice expert. That's what I'm saying. I could be totally wrong. Just to me, it just sounds like the same guy to me. But who freaking knows? I wouldn't be surprised if they said no, because I'm not like this voice expert type person that's like, no, I know how to know for sure if that's somebody's voice, you know. See, we're talking about a couple different things, so now I don't know who's talking about what. So wait, Kylie, are you talking about the BK situation then? Well, wait, didn't somebody just confessed, what was the one, hold on, it was one of those big cases. Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue, where they confessed and it came out that I think it was a lie, right? Just like I would say in the last year or two. Remind me, guys. It was like a big case, but it was one of the cases that I don't think I ever covered, to be honest. Or somebody said they did it, but I think it was proven they didn't. It happens. It does. It's not like it happens like a ton where it's like a regular occurrence, but it does happen. I feel like since I've had my channel, I feel like I think it's happened a few different times since I've had my channel, where you hear like somebody confess and they're like, no, it was wrong. And also, another thing people take credit is if they're already in prison for a murder, they'll take credit for other murders that's not them, because they have nothing to lose now. You know what I'm saying? So they just want to look like, ooh, more bigger and like they did more or whatever. They're already spending a lifetime in prison. Now, the ones that make the least sense is people that aren't in prison and say that, because then it's like, why would you freaking do that? But it does happen. It does. All right, I'm going to press play.
We don't have any more description on it other than it was a car that was parked there.
Let me see. I'll try to find an example.
And I've asked the police, well, what kind of car is it? You know, I'll be on the lookout for it. If somebody says, somebody knows something about that car, please come forward and share that information, because
wait.
Okay. That might be that piece.
Hold on real quick. I was looking at it in a different way. So you have the false confessions. So I almost like do those in two different categories. So you have the people that are broken down and basically almost like manipulated in a way to falsely confess. Okay, that's one thing. And we have that with well, see, you say West Memphis 3, but I still think that was a real confession with him. I don't know. I know I'm a minority on that, but I believe that confession. But we have the one in Making a Murderer. Even though I do think Stephen Avery killed Teresa, I don't think that I do think the nephew's confession was false. So I do think that was a false confession that they got out of him. And usually people that are younger, lower IQ, those are people that are, that it happens to most frequently. But so that's one thing. Now, I'm talking about confessions that people just confess, where it's not that they're like being interrogated for hours and they get like somehow different reasons, and when it's like hours and they get broken down, or they're just like, like I said, there's just different reasons why people end up falsely confessing. But I'm talking about just people that call in and they just admit to something for no reason. It wasn't that anybody was interrogating them for hours. That happens too. That's the one that I was thinking of, like those ones. And I'm trying to look for an example of that. But false confessions, that's a whole nother ordeal, dude. We could do like a video on that one day. There's that one show that we could actually watch. Because of Rumble, we could watch it on it. Yes, we could do so much fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to put that down as a... Hold on one second. I'm giving ideas for Rumble. Okay, let's continue this thing. And I'm going to try to look up that one case I was talking about where somebody confessed to this murder that's been unsolved for years, and that wasn't true. Like, they don't think
So that puzzle that somebody says, okay, it was a, 1974 Vega or whatever, somebody says, yeah, I saw that out there. Then bring that information forward.
Please.
And I see somebody's asking they need to give a description, and I don't think they have a good, complete description of the car. It was very sketchy from people who said, yeah, we saw a car parked there. But, there again, you drive down the highway, and you see a car pulled over along the side of the road. It's got an orange sticker on it. I remember seeing them, but I don't know what it was. Was it a blue Chevy, 1980 or 2000 model? I don't always pay attention to those, and people that day probably didn't either. But there was definitely a car parked around that building, and any information on that could be huge.
Yeah, a lot of people mentioning that the info of that car isn't put on the police website or whatever. So maybe they don't have it, like you said, or who knows, I suppose. But that could be very pertinent information.
Yeah, it certainly could. And I know Doug expanded on it, like I said, in that presser.
Okay.
Well, and that might be something that we could ask them,
Yeah.
Could you put something about the car on the website because...
Yeah, I'll certainly ask that question. That's a good point.
So we're going to go back to the audio again. Obviously, you guys have heard it more times than anyone really should have to. But we've had a couple of people say, we've had it come up a couple of times. One person has asked Steph, is it possible that he said, what time do you have? To me, it sounds like this with a Southern accent. Makes sense for a reason to come close. Makes sense for a reason to come close to her if she already had her phone out. And then to follow up on that, another person is asking, did the girls refer to him as creepy guy?
Okay, so the first part of your question, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to get it all down here.
Yeah. I'd be more, trust me, putting it together was like that too.
Yeah.
So
reiterate the first part, please.
Yep, and I can actually play it too, just for them, since I see he's got it pulled up. I've got the wrong file up. One moment.
You're saying that somebody's asking about maybe what time it is?
Yeah, instead of the down the hill.
Oh.
Yeah, instead of down the hill, because you guys have listened to that, so many times. Have you ever? And I guess to expand on that, have you ever thought about? Were they saying something else other than down the hill?
No,
I mean, that sounds like down the hill to me, no question.
It's down the hill.
Yeah.
He's definitely telling them to go down the hill.
But let me, someone did say earlier about they feel like the guys, it could be a different voice than that guy. I mean, that doesn't sound so to me. What do you think on that? They
brought that up at the presser, that they specifically said guy, because it sounds, they just specifically said that was the same person saying both.
Just a kind of a different tone of voice, like maybe a...
They also said that was the same person in the sketch. I'm sorry. I'm gonna never live that. I'm never gonna let them stop hearing about that. Even though nobody's really listening. I mean, none of them is actually listening, but nope. Not cool. So let's see what our polls supposedly doing so far. Yeah, one of those nights, guys. Just bear with me. So 2 different people, 21% says 2 different people. We only have 34 votes. So, and I'm looking up that confession thing too. So I'm going to try to get some examples. I found one, but it's not the big case that I was thinking of yet. So I want to find that. Okay, so hold on. I want to see how many people that makes. And wait, so, how many votes was the hypnotized? It was 24%. I wanted to see how many that makes, and I don't remember how many votes on that was. To see how many people, that 24% of whatever the amount, to see how many people have been hypnotized. But I didn't write the number down, so I don't know, but let's see for this. So 24%. So like almost 9 people are 8.8 people are so like around 8 people think that it's 2 different people. Okay, not bad. Oh, it's not, Jonathan. So I wonder if it's not working for other people too. Yeah, I don't think anybody was cleared officially. I don't think they cleared anybody officially. Well, I know they didn't, because even that day, that press conference where they arrested Alan, remember that the interviewer asked Doug Carter and he said no, nobody's been cleared, because she specifically asked about Ron Logan. Remember that weird well, I guess any interview with Doug Carter's weird, but do you remember that one where he's standing outside, like not outside, but like it's probably like out in the hallway where the press conference was, where I was imagining that they maybe just had the press conference and it was after, and he's talking about taking a drive, and he was driving before the press conference. He drove around a little bit. He went to the Flora house, and then she says something like, do you think it was Richard Allen, or you have the right guy, or whatever? And he says something like, well, a judge wouldn't have signed the probable cause affidavit if we didn't, or whatever. And then he's like, says something like, oh, I can't wait till I could tell you the story. Oh my Lord, I can't with him.
More authoritative, you know what I mean? Down the hill is more of a directive, where could have been guys. You walk up on somebody, guys, and then down the hill.
Yeah, and I had said in the previous interview with Anna that I thought he said it kind of casually. More, that's why I was thinking maybe he had a weapon or something. It's an authoritative statement, but the way that he said it was more just like, "Let's go," not like "get down," kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. But you also got to put yourself in context. This is a 13 and 14-year-old girl. Okay. This guy's a grown man.
Why shoot her? Wonder why.
Intimidating just in itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Weapon, no weapon, whatever.
I'm gonna end it.
And that's the innocence of these girls.
It's 24 and 76. I'm just gonna end it because people are having problems. So I don't feel like it's gonna be a good tell on accuracy, because I'm nervous that it's not working right.
He took advantage of that.
He played on their age.
Questions about DNA. Anna was asked that as well. Well, what have you heard about any DNA or anything recovered from the actual scene?
I mean, I've heard that they have DNA. What they have and how much they have, I have no idea. I get asked all the time why CC Moore isn't trying to help. I don't know. I don't know what they have, and I don't know what they're doing. I'm not the investigator, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like if they have DNA, that I can't imagine why they wouldn't have DNA.
So I'm going to do another poll because I'm seeing a lot of comments and I didn't realize there was so many. Well, I guess I only seen a few, but if there's a few commenting it, that means there's probably a lot more people thinking this. As far as people thinking that, or they're suspect of Mike Patty, or is that a thing? Is that a lot of people are thinking that? I know I've heard it in the past, but I didn't realize it was still like a concern. I remember hearing about it like 3 years ago plus, when I was looking into it. Like I said, I didn't realize it was actually still a problem. All right, hold on, let me look real quick. Or let me do a poll real quick, sorry. So I'm going to ask if you think Mike Patty is involved. That'll be the poll. Hopefully, let me know if this poll's showing up right this time. I'm trying to think if I should put, I don't know. I almost don't want to because if you don't know, then just don't vote. Or does it help for accuracy? Does it like to have like that I don't know? I don't think it helps. I think it just, people just shouldn't answer if they don't know, right? If they don't have an opinion. Yeah, I don't think I should put another one. Let me know. I haven't started it yet, Jonathan. Should I put a third answer? Yes, no. Should I put something else? I don't know. I'm just going to put yes or no. All right. Let me know if it's working, guys. Dang it. What was I going to do? There was something else that I wanted to talk to you about as I was listening. Oh, no, I was looking up cases. Okay, I'm going to continue this. I'm going to try to find a couple more examples of people that take credit for a crime that they didn't do, but voluntarily do it. You know what I'm saying? Not that they're like broken down and caused to falsely confess, but they just want to take credit for it.
So maybe it's just not in the system yet.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kubi. She says, "I hope 2021 is the year they catch this monster." And I
Me too.
I want to. I always say I would keep my foot on this guy's neck. I know Grotto feels the same way. We got to flush him out. Speaking of that, I know Grotto, you probably were going to ask this question. So, what are your thoughts on the whole? And after I do this, Grotto, I'll let you kind of get into some of those questions. Sorry for jumping in.
I'm actually answering a lot of questions in chat as we're going. So
yeah, I saw that. That's why. But what are your thoughts on local versus? Do you think we asked both Anna and Mike and Becky Patty, they didn't seem to fully know, but as far as likelihood on like local guy versus is it an area that you feel could have been, easily traversed by like a trucker or any routes going through there? What are your thoughts on that? Because to me, it's odd that such a small town wouldn't know who this guy is. To me, that's
right.
the oddest thing about the case. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, so here's the thing. I lived in the area from the time I was 8 years old until I was about 26, 28.
Jonathan, what are you sending me here? Something that just started talking. Or maybe not. Now it's gone. Okay, so I was looking at the picture you're sending me of the broken chat, and this thing popped up. So it looked like it was coming from you. I clicked on it. It started talking, whatever it was. But then I go back and it's not you just sent me a freaking screenshot. So what the heck was that? Okay, I don't know. But anyway. So wait, the new poll is saying the same thing? It's doing the same thing? Dang it. Is it, guys? Capricorps, what's up? How are you? Hey, Susan. You mean a video Libby took? You said the video that Kay took? Or Libby, you mean? It was a 2 or 3 in the morning after police called of search. No, they said midnight. Police call. So they said, well, in the interview, they said around midnight is when they originally called it off, and they said, oh, for safety issues, and then, well, at least Mike said he took Becky home, went back to the fire station, and there were still people there. So then they still searched. After they called him off, they still all went out and searched because there were still people wanting to search. So then they searched till like 2 or 3. But originally, it sounds like they called it off like around midnight. But then, like I said, there were still people there. So then people ended up still searching, is what I got from it. But are you guys getting the pull or no? Hey, Steph sells wait, hold on. This one's a hard one. Steph sells stuff by the seashore. Pool's fine. Okay, cool. I think pool's fine now, guys. Oh, some people are saying it's not. I don't know. We'll try. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. Did you send me another super chat? Wait, it's not. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. So now it's good. Okay. All right. So let's finish watching this. It's almost done. But I feel like I missed what I wanted to discuss with her so far because what has she talked about? Let me see here.
And I didn't even know the place existed.
Oh, she's talking about the bridge.
So I cannot imagine someone just happening upon the place at the right time and just at the right moment to catch those 2 girls and catch them off guard, whatever they managed to do. They didn't just stumble upon the place. They knew that area.
Well, let me just see. What do they talk about before that? And then I'll fast forward because I was looking up something. All right, let me see here.
Any DNA or anything recovered from the actual scene?
I mean, I've heard that they have DNA. What they have and how much they have, I have no idea. I get asked all the time why CC Moore isn't trying to help. I don't know. I don't know what they have, and I don't know what they're doing. I'm not the investigator, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like if they have DNA, that I can't imagine why they wouldn't have DNA. So maybe it's just not in the system yet.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kubi. She says, I hope 2021 is the year they catch this monster. And I
Me too.
I always say I would keep my foot on this guy's neck. I know Grotto feels the same way. We got to flush him out. Speaking of that, I know, Grotto, you probably were going to ask
The sketch, and we'd already had the audio and video at that.
Shoot, if fast forward. So what? You're saying the new pool is broke, where you can't see what's on top or bottom? Thanks for a super chat. You're spoiling me, Jonathan. Let me see. So yes is on top and no is on the bottom. But I don't understand. You could read the question, but you can't read the answers, or what? Huh, that sucks. So yeah, yes is on the top and no is at the bottom. All right, let me see if I could figure out where we left off. I accidentally hit the...
I know, Grotto, you probably were going to ask this question. So what are your thoughts on the whole... And after I do this, Grotto, I'll let you kind of get into some of those questions. Sorry for jumping in.
I'm actually answering a lot of questions in chat as we're going. So
yeah, I saw that. That's why. But what are your thoughts on local versus, do you think we asked both Anna and Mike and Becky Patty. They didn't seem to fully know, but as far as likelihood on like local guy versus is it an area that you feel could have been, easily traversed by like a trucker or any routes going through there? What are your thoughts on that? Because to me, it's odd that such a small town wouldn't know who this guy is. To me, that's
right.
The oddest thing about the case. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, so here's the thing. I lived in the area from the time I was 8 years old until I was about 26, 28. And I didn't even know the place existed. So I cannot imagine someone just happening upon the place at the right time and the right, just at the right moment to catch those two girls and catch them off guard, whatever they managed to do. They didn't just stumble upon the place. They knew that area. They had to have, which in my mind tells me they're either local or used to be local, have some kind of ties, whether it be family or they grew up here or there. I don't know, but to me, this seems to be someone at least with a local tie.
Okay.
And to be honest, my issue with either one of the sketches is that it looks like half of the men in Indiana.
Yeah, that's what Anna said. She said
So-
I'm not wearing my hat tonight.
I mean, to be
mentioned
fair,
that,
people could be walking right past him every single day and not realize that they're walking right next to a killer.
Very nondescript, kind of looking, just dumpy looking kind of guy.
Yeah.
And do you feel that? To me, I always said that recording sounds like he's saying it very nonchalant, considering what he's saying. Like, it's not like get down the hill. It's more like I picture him having like a weapon or a gun. Is that your take on it? Do you know anything more about the audio also?
Honestly, I know nothing more about the audio.
Yeah.
I've never even heard any of it other than the little loop clip that we have, and I refuse to really listen to that. It really makes me sick.
Okay.
But, I don't know anymore. I don't know how much they have. I don't know what else is said.
No one's
One
ever
day I
mentioned
will,
anything about more being released to them, correct?
I'm sorry.
No one that you know of has ever mentioned about any more audio being released to them, correct?
I don't really know.
Okay.
I believe that some of the close family have heard some of the audio, but a very short piece, in the beginning. I don't really know though.
Okay. Grotto, do you want? I know you. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen.
I feel like one day I'll listen to it, but at this point, why?
Right.
Understandable.
Grotto, do you want to get a couple questions into Carrie versus answering them in the chat? I want to make sure you get a few into, and I know you might have some of your own as well.
Yep, just a second. I've seen. Wait. So a lot of the questions have asked about what your feelings on what he was wearing, that kind of stuff. Obviously, you don't really look into a lot of that stuff, do you?
I mean, I see a lot of what's posted on social media. I don't think he has a kitten in his pocket. I don't see people in the shadows. I think he was overly dressed for the weather that day. Looked a little odd considering it was as warm as it was. Like he was prepared for something. And judging by the sketches, it looks like maybe he was covering something with his clothing. Because if you go by the younger looking sketch, he's a smaller type guy. There may be something under his coat.
The kitten in the pocket, is that a thing that's come up? I haven't heard that.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, I've seen all kinds of craziness. People will look into, they will zoom into stuff and then look in the pixels of the photos and find all kinds of things. I've seen where people have outlined different things in his pockets. I've seen a gun. There's been a joke about different, this, that, or the other items that people have seen in some of these groups. The groups are ridiculous.
So one thing that a couple of people have asked is, do you know if any of them were talking to anyone online, or do you believe that any links to their social media accounts may have been what prompted someone to meet them that day, or do you think it was, they were just walking through and came along somebody kind of an opportunity type of situation?
I mean, honestly, I obviously don't really know the answer to that, but I don't have reason to believe that Libby at least had anything. I'm not saying Abby did, because I don't have any reason to believe either of the girls actually had went out there with the intention of meeting someone. And I feel like if there was some kind of connection to their social media, they would have figured that out by now. That seems too easy. I mean, I know this
Exactly.
isn't
Seems
CSI,
too
but that's one of those things where you've had the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and they're looking for cyber crimes. You would believe that if it was social media related, that it would have already been figured out.
Yeah, I was trying
Um,
to figure out the best way to pose that question because it keeps getting brought up, and it's kind of obviously, obviously one of the first things they would have done in a digital age is gone through all of their social media, especially if
Right.
they're posting that day from that location.
For sure.
I mean, it would seem that would be the obvious way to go. Again, I can't comment on the investigation because I'm not privy to those details, but I would think that would be one of the first things that they.
Okay, so that's all. Like I said, if you guys want to watch the whole interviews, I have his channel linked in the description. Wait, what are you saying, Chevy Killer? Alan, the phone stopped pinging at 5:30, the same time they went to the police. So what are you saying, Chevy? What do you think? Digital says if they found the phone at 2 a.m., they would have to admit they found the bodies because the phone was under the body. So wait, Digital, what are you saying now? Oh, Morningstar. Okay, good night. Sleep good. What time is it where you're at? Okay, Chevy. I'm following, but I'm not. I'm trying to figure out what is the result. I mean, what do you think? What is your thoughts on it? What you think happened by what you're saying, basically? $12 a.m. Okay. Yeah, it's 12 a.m. where I am too. Morningstar, where are you at? Is it 12 a.m. where you are? Hold on. I'm trying to like follow what you're saying. I don't know. What is your conclusion? Wait, what am I helping you out with, Jonathan? I don't know. What's going on? I'm trying to like keep up with the chat, but I don't know what you're having a problem with. Yeah, I'm in like northeastern type Ohio, yeah. Yepper. 11. See, Sean says, Kelsey never touched that phone after it was found by law enforcement. It was evidence. No family member touched it, only CSI people with gloves. Oh, you got it? What was the issue? For baby daddy in the house. Okay, so far we have 54% yes, thinks that Mike Patty is involved in the murders, and 46 no. Wow. Okay. So wait, the people that think Mike is involved, do you think Derek is too? Is it, like kind of like linking both of them, or like what is the motive? I mean, my hair looks so I was outside on my walk and it was raining, and so we know how raining does to hair. Plus I didn't straighten my hair after my shower last night. But I was out my walk and it's just like raining. Just rain was hitting my hair, and then I put up my hood after it, and so my hair looks like I look like a homeless lady. Anyway, oh, okay. No. Spunded? Spunded? No, I know, just a typo. Susan Lacey. Are you guys so is the whoa, wait a minute. Did you see that? Is that hold on a second. It was flickered, but I'm wondering if hold on one second, guys. I can still talk to you. Hold on, you guys. There's an issue. We got a technical issue. Technical issue down here. Give me 1 minute, please. I gotta find the source. Okay, where does this go to, guys? That's what we gotta find. Hold on. Okay, we're all good here. Can you guys still hear me? All right, let's see. See, okay, Cody is freaking suspicious. So this story with Cody did have me, like, I always say, I don't know why I always say that. It reminds me of a dog, but I always be like, it's got my ears perk up. I don't know why. I just started saying that, but it's like you know how dogs' ears are like, but it makes me like, huh? What did I hear about him? Type. So yeah, Cody. It does make me wonder, like, what is there anything to some of the weirdness surrounding Cody? So there's this video. I'm still trying to find the exact video. So do you guys know the interview? So somebody did a video basically, and they're talking about Cody, and they're talking about how he says that he was with Mike or that other Mike or no, he was working. And then she says, now I forget the details. Shoot. So Kelsey's doing an interview and they ask because they're concerned about Cody's story. And she says, oh, wait, I thought he was doing something else. And then Cody says he was doing something else and the stories were different. Now I forget what the specifics are. I knew like a couple weeks ago because I had brought it up and now I'm slipping my mind. So why does this keep getting caught? So one of the things was one of them, I think he said he was working maybe at one point, and then he told Kelsey he was hanging out with that Mike guy or something like that. And it basically came out as in the mid-interview with Kelsey. But my question is, do you guys know what interview that is? And can you send it to me? Because I would love to see that. So somebody did that video, and I can't remember if they had said what interview. I don't think they did, the video I saw. I don't think they said what interview, but they were talking about how she was on an interview, and they were like suspicious, and she was actually trying to say something to clear him up, like, oh no, Cody was blah blah blah. And it's like, wait a minute, he said that he was doing something else. So it was like, why would he need to lie about what he's doing? Like, why would you hear two different things? You know, if like, what was he doing? And then we hear, you know, Becky's story, which that doesn't kind of interfere too much necessarily, because Becky just says how when she was leaving and about ready to go search, he was pulling up and he's like, hey, wait, where are you going? Okay, I'll come help you. But where was he before that is the question. So Kelsey thought he was somewhere different than where he said he was. Like I said, I think one of them was just hanging out with his friend and the other was working, right? Isn't that how it has? Anyway. Okay, yeah. Is that the one where she says that? Okay. I'll do that. Okay, so I'll write that down for Betsy's a woman. Yeah, Betsy's a woman. Wait, what, Alan, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, so I was in the middle of trying to find that. Hold on a second. To find I found one example, but why am I thinking it was not McCain? Was it McCain? Madeline? Wait, wasn't that Did somebody said that they did it, but they didn't? Was it that case or no? Maybe. You guys know what I'm talking about? Maybe not McCain or what was it? Wait, I'm getting that confused with another case. I always get the names confused. Um, I really want to find it because I feel like it was just in the matter of like a couple years that happened, right? Like I said, it wasn't a case that I ever covered, so when I heard it, it's not like I did a video, but I just remember people talking about it, and they're like, no, it's not. This guy's like confessing, but they don't think he did it. Oh. Anyway, it's not that important, really. It's just, I just wanted to show you that it does happen. You know? All right, hold on a second. All right. Anyway. Oh, I remember that, Sweet Dudley. Actually, I did cover it. That was the only time that I did actually talk about it, was when that girl tried to say that she was her. Oh, yes, that was last year, but I'm not talking about that, so maybe it wasn't that case. But it was a case where it was a little girl. It was about a little girl that I'm thinking of, that somebody said it, they took credit for it, but here they don't think it, they think it was just lying. But yeah, what about that? Whatever came of that? Because she was gonna do a lie detector. Oh no, she was gonna do a DNA. Did she ever do a DNA? Ramsey, I think it was Ramsey. Yeah, wasn't it? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It was either last year or maybe 2 years ago. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, so and so confessed," but nobody believed the person that whoever said that he did it. They didn't believe him, right? Um, yeah. So did Madeline? Did anybody ever hear what the DNA results were? Did that girl ever take DNA? It was somewhat okay. A part of it was like not believable, but a part of it was believable. So there was times during that whole instance when that girl was saying it was her, there was parts of it that almost made me believe it, but then there was parts where it's like, no. So I mean, I think overall I don't think it was her, but there was some believable parts to the whole thing that did make you kind of like want to look into it more, I remember. Yeah, because that would be the answer if DNA right there. So the fact is if she like didn't want to do the DNA, then that would be like, why? If you're so sure, like, do it. But didn't I hear something about how the parents were kind of like not okay, like didn't agree for her to do the DNA, or somehow that her parents were trying to get like involved in the middle of her giving the DNA? Wasn't there something like that? So, need a full review since I got my kid one. A review on what? Scrap out! What up, what up, what up? Alright, so Dark Wizard. So we're gonna do a rumble. We were gonna do like a girls' night, but I don't want to limit. But we were talking about last time we should do like a girls' night rumble. But I know I feel bad even in saying that. But it was just because it was like probably like how many of us? I think maybe there was like 30 or 40 in chat, but everybody that was chatting was female, and we were just having so much fun last rumble. We're like, we're gonna have a girls' night out rumble, but I don't want to be what's the word for it? But no, it's fun, guys. Anybody could come. But yeah, so it's in my description if you guys want to come. I think I'm gonna head over there. Wait, sweet Dudley, why don't you ever come? I was joking about the girls' night. It was just a joke. Why don't you ever come? You could come. Like I said, that was just a joke. I was telling the story how it was just us girls last Rumble, and we're like, let's just make it girls' night. But of course everybody's welcome. But why don't you ever come again? I forget what you said. I remember last time I asked you to come, and I forget if you said you, because not having Rumble's not an excuse. You just could get it, but I don't remember if there was another reason. Really? Wait a minute, then it is girls' night, sweet Dudley. It might be a girls. We might just leave it make it strictly girls' night for the panel we were talking about, and then you could come watch. Will that make you come, sweet Dudley? If we do like only girls panel? Because of course I wouldn't be able to control who watches. You know what I'm saying? I can't control like who watches, girls or guys, but I can control who's up on panel. If the males would rather just be all girls. Wait a minute, sweet Dudley. Rumble's actually a safer place than YouTube. Are you kidding me? It's like safer. I think he's just messing. We just have this thing, but I still want him to come though. Dark Wizard. Who's Steven Crowder? I don't know who Steven Crowder is. Who is that? Is he like the maker of Rumble or something? I know, the last two Rumbles were just so awesome, so, yeah, I think Sweet Dudley, I think what it is you just don't feel like having to download it and stuff like that, huh? Alright, wait, what are you, who are you talking to, Alan? What time were you going on? I don't want to miss it. Oh, right after this. I'm just gonna go probably get a piece of candy and just, I shouldn't, I've been eating so much. I'm just gonna, no, I probably won't even get a piece of candy. I just gotta go, do it. Like, it takes me a couple minutes to get everything set up for it. But wait. Maris Mug! Ryan, what up? Yeah, it's just like our hangout. You know, it's just like a hangout, you know, where I just like to hang out with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't have to worry about anything, you know? It's just the only time like I feel like, no, I mean, this was fun. This was fun here. But it's almost like, you know, oh, this is the after party. It's like, this is work and that's fun. I don't know what I'm talking about, but let's go over there, guys. All right. The casting sucks for a lot. Casting? I don't know what casting means, John. What do you mean casting? Casting. I don't know. Oh, okay, Sean. Part-time. Oh, good for you. Oh yeah, the poll. Okay, so 52. So it's still about the same. 52% says, yeah. So there's 50, like more than not think that he's involved. It's crazy. I would vote no if I was able to vote. I don't think it's a crazy thought, but I just don't think he is. Okay. John, are you gonna come? All right, I'm gonna end this poll. I'm gonna end it. Do you have it, Jonathan? No, that was Cody that just got out of prison. But Cody he was out. He was actually in was he in like some kind of like group home or some kind of home. So no, he was out. He had a time to do it. He was out at that time, from what I understand. But you're thinking of Cody, their son. All right, so I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys in a few over there. Uh Both motive and suspect follow the. Oh yeah, I mean, but that would be. Are you talking about Derek? But what? But Mike. I mean, are you thinking Mike is just involved because his son, to help his son out or something, or what? All right, I'm gonna go, guys. Come on over. The link is in the description. So let's get ready to rumble. Ashley, are you gonna come up? Or are you gonna work tomorrow? Me and my hair is so bad. All right, I'll see you guys over there. Come on over. Links in the description. Bye.